Hello, everybody. Welcome to a very last-minute stream, hence our half-hour loading screen, waiting screen for us to finally be here and on. So, welcome. We are playing a quest one-shot. We haven't done a quest one-shot in a while with anyone from the Roll for Damage crew, probably not since Sundered, or from like a full year ago, I believe, or maybe more. It was February. 2 Februarys ago, I think. But I think the last actual quest game we did was for Jasper's game day last year for Paradice. We did one for that. So very excited to jump back into quest. Also very excited to jump back into my homebrew world of Arden, which is a science fantasy solar punk themed world that is an evolution of my D&D homebrew world of Aradun many years in the future when magic has quelled somewhat, but still exists. And Aradun, the planet, has crashed into its gas giant mother, Vero, to become a series of floating islands that is Arden. So, before we get started into this, and this is going to be sort of a scary Halloween episode, we're going to be doing a little bit of horror here. So, if you need to keep yourself safe, if something is too much for you, feel free to mute the stream and walk away. But just for a general content warning, it's going to be somewhat of like a monster horror. So there may be some scary monsters, some loud noises, maybe some gore. So keep that in mind. All right, I'm going to turn things over to my players tonight to introduce themselves. We're lucky to have our friends from Roll for Damage here that we usually play with in the scales above for a fun one-shot. So, Shannon, who the hell are you?
Who the hell am I? I don't know.
Yeah,
it's
who the
like,
hell are you?
Who am I? Well, I am the community manager for Paradice Productions. I'm also our resident Chaos Pirate Saskia, formerly our resident rogue Scarlet, RIP. But tonight I will be playing Astrid Moreau, a tinkerer with hopes of being an engineer, maybe a cloud sailor pirate. She also has a hat that she likes to wear, which I'll put on when we start the game. And there's backstory there. So yeah, follow us on all the socials at paradiceprod, and that's Paradice with a C, like a pair of dice. Hee. That's me. That's who I am. Cute. Oh, thanks. We thought it was funny. Almost.
Yep, we were almost pair-o-dice with hyphens, but that was short-lived. Before we went, why don't we just say Paradise?
Yes. Yeah, Paradise.
That was 4 years ago.
It was.
Wow.
It was.
It was 4. We
pretty
totally
much exactly 4 years ago. We
did.
Yeah.
Whoops.
So you started in
Paradise
November
is 4 years
2019?
old.
We started in October 2019. Yeah. What was it? October like 12th or something?
It was like the 9th. Yeah, it was like right at the beginning.
I think we started
Feb
2019. So yeah, pretty close.
Yeah.
Nova, who the hell are you? What are you doing here?
Hi, I'm Nova. Usually I DM for these two lovely nerds over, 3 if you include Tro, over at Roll for Damage. We've been putting our videos up on YouTube for the Scales Above, which is sort of like a Rise of Tiamat adjacent adventure, high-level, high-stakes game. Today I'm playing Clint, a kind of like a information gathering criminal anarchist sort of guy. And we'll just see how that goes with this group of chaos children. If you want to see any, I don't really do social media a lot, but just Roll for Damage, roll ROLE for the number, then damage. You can see us around. Tro, you're up.
Hello, I had to unmute. Hi everyone, I'm Shro or Sarah, whatever works for you. I am here with these lovely people because I love them very much. And I don't really do social media, but I exist out there. So if you know me, come find me. Otherwise, I'm a mystery to you all, and you'll find me here purely for the joys of RPGs, and the occasional Kiki moment. Yeah, I'm normally here with Roll for Damage, playing our Rise of Tiamat adjacent campaign. I am playing that one as Tig, our lovable barbarian who's just done just to make her family happy, and trying to be the glue that keeps everyone together. And today I will be playing. Are we introducing our characters now?
You could at least say their name and what class you're playing.
Yeah. Okay. I will be playing Kiki. I'm bringing her back to life, and she is going to be our spy, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also a spy / magician. I forgot to say that.
Yeah, we've had a fun interaction over the weekend, realizing, we're kind of the same, but we're a little different. So we'll see what happens.
I guess I could say I am an invoker spy. So everyone's spying on stuff.
Which makes sense because I told you guys to be people who live outside the law, so this makes sense. You would play the rogue equivalent within Quest.
We'll see what happens.
Excellent. I love it. Love all the characters. Very excited to play tonight.
Sean, who are you?
Oh, me?
Yeah, who
the hell are you?
I'm Sean.
Who is this man?
Of Paradice, creative director of Paradice Productions. Big fan of Quest. Probably one of my favorite RPG systems. I really hope that they release the science fantasy setting soon so that I can stop flavoring the fantasy setting for this world I've created. And I will be the guide tonight. So Quest uses a guide as opposed to game master or whatever other language you might be familiar with, but I am the equivalent of a game master. I will help guide these three through today's quest. Just a quick note on Quest for those who've never played or heard of the system. It is a D20 system, and the way it works is that 20 is a critical success, as in most games. An 11 through 19 is just a regular success. A 6 through 10 is difficult choice, where I will give the player a difficult choice and they choose the outcome. Most of the time, it's usually like, do you want it to like, hey, I'm going to jump over this cliff. I rolled a 9. Okay, difficult choice. You jump over and the part of the cliff drops down and makes it impossible for your party to jump over. You have to find an alternate way. Or you jump over, nothing breaks, and you drop your sword. You know, you have to choose. Often it's choosing between yourself and the party in a lot of ways. 2 through 5 is a difficult choice as well, except I choose the outcome as opposed to you choosing it. And then a natural 1 is whatever the worst outcome is, which oftentimes might be both of the difficult choices happening at once. So, with that in mind, high success rolls, but high risk failures is sort of the name of the game for Quest, or at least how I like to play it. I think that's everything. I think we can start playing the game. All right.
Let's do it.
I'm unreasonably nervous. It's the first time I played a game since Sunday, so I'm like...
I'm nervous because like this is a totally new game system to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh god, it's one dice. What if I fuck it up?
Sean's gonna make me pay for
you
all
really
the
can't.
trauma
It's
of,
really
of
easy
his
to pick
character.
up.
It is very difficult to. I mean, it's not. It's very easy to pick up the game because it's basically D&D, but with lighter rules and more fun, more narrative fun allowed.
Wow. Just gonna throw D&D under the bus like that. This is just D&D, but more fun.
That's how I feel about it. That's every time I play Quest, I'm like, wow, this is D&D, but more fun.
I'm a weird mix of people who I really like mechanically heavy games, so you can feel like you know what you're doing. You can, But then this game's just like, but you just do it. You don't need to have the mechanic. You just do the thing you want to do. So it's good.
It is challenging as the guide because you do have to basically know when to say no, as opposed to in D&D where you can kind of be like, I'll let him roll, but the DC's 30. It's like here, it's like I have to be very clear, like, no, that is not possible to do right now because you will most likely succeed if you roll for it. All right.
Yeah. Anyway, continue.
Alrighty. Alright, just changing the tunes up a little. So, welcome to Arden, a world of drifting islands coasting the cloud seas of the gas giant Varna. You see, Arden was once a terrestrial moon, but whatever our ancestors messed with sundered that moon, collapsing civilization. But somehow, through that calamity, we persisted. Now, we find ourselves on the drifts, looking for a better life of stewardship, justice, or perhaps crime. Or so the Willow Accord says. If the Virian Corps has anything to say about it, they'll turn the whole drift into the factory towns of their own making. And never mind the zealots amongst the Gregarians, dreaming of the long-dead gods and the end of the very tech that keeps us alive. But out here, on the outer drifts, places like this little island, Hestia, folk can live in peace amongst the eco-cities and solar farms with a genuine sense of community. But over the last few years, corruption has riddled the local Willow Accord coalition, resulting in infiltration of several corporations into the megacity of Corvolt, turning essentially what was once, some might call a paradise, into a grimy, cutthroat city. Our heroes today, or I guess not heroes, our people, our folk, find themselves in some way entangled within that new crime-riddled streets of Corvolt. They have a meeting, not in Corvolt, but outside in the Badlands, closer to the edge of civilization at a little biker bar known as the Haggle. But before we meet them at the Haggle, I'd like each of you to introduce your character, describe what they look like, and then describe what they're doing the morning of their day when they know that they need to be at the Haggle this evening. What do you spend your day doing before you take your, I don't know, your car or your motorbike or the or if you don't got that, maybe your scooter, maybe your skateboard, out of Corvolt to head over to the Haggle for this evening. So who would like to go first with describing what their character looks like and what they're spending their day doing before this quest? All right.
No, I'll go first.
Excellent.
Don't everyone fly off at once. You know what? I'm just gonna go for it. Hey everyone, my name's Kiki. If you want the long name, it's Kiana Anastasia Faraday Bethrina Jensen. She's from one of those high ups. She's about 20 years old, standing about 5.5 feet tall. At the moment, Kiana is on the outskirts of the city, kind of at the gates.
Yeah.
Where no one is right now. And she's just going to town with artwork. She's just making all that beautiful stuff, tagging, graffiti, as well as some really beautiful artwork and some just displaying nature where there formerly was nature, saying this should be here now. Also some pretty nasty words being written up about the Willow Corporation and the family Faraday Jensen. She seems to be a bit of a black sheep, but she's just going to town with the artwork. And skateboard's just leaning up against the wall, and it's being absolutely covered in spray paint, but she doesn't really care. Same with the backpack, just pushed up against the wall. A couple of snacks on the floor, just some garbage around, but she's just rebelling. Kind of.
Absolutely. So Kiki is spray painting the side of the walls of the city. Ever since the corporations, particularly the Virian Corps, has nestled their claws into the city, as well as other corporations that are coming from the core drifts, there's been much more security created around Corvolt. At one point, it had no walls. It was just a very open city that anyone could kind of come in and out of. Now, there are these reinforced walls, though at this point, in certain parts of the city. They're very rarely patrolled by any of the police departments of Corvolt or any of the private military units of the corporations. So Kiki is tagging up this wall with beautiful images of nature, caricatures of the Faraday Jensen executive suite, and some foul words, as you could just see a few cars and motorbikes leaving out into the Badlands. Not much reason to leave Corvolt for a lot of folks, so you don't see a lot of traffic leaving out here. Occasionally a car slowly drives by, rolling its window down and just sort of staring at what Kiki's up to, what you're up to, before waving a hand and driving off. You see maybe a street urchin kid is just sort of peeking around the corner and looking at all the art that you're doing as they kind of slowly sneak towards you, curious, ever more curious about what you're doing. Maybe themselves have never actually walked out of the walls, so their hesitancy is because they are like, holy shit, it's all flat. There's bushes. It's not
Probably
concrete.
Like, I'll take their hand and be like, it's okay. Come with me. I'll keep you safe. Hold this. Press this button.
They start to...
And I'm going to be like, help them draw, like,
Yeah.
do their first graffiti.
The kid is blown away at this and loves, like, they immediately, like, you start to guide them, and at a certain point they like kind of like they don't like pull away, but they just start running down the wall and just spraying as long as they could go, and they just start laughing as they're running along up this wall, creating just this long line of neon green paint all the way down.
Yeah. Encourage anarchy. Start them young.
Excellent. And I imagine you spend much of your day doing this, maybe chilling by the wall, listening to some music, or eating your snacks before eventually finding your way out west towards the haggle.
Yeah. I'll check my bag as well and make sure it's definitely empty for the day. And if it's not, I'm just going to count everything in there, but I'm assuming it's empty since it's the start of the morning. And my little beastie is just asleep in the bottom, curled up in a little ball.
Yes, absolutely. And can you describe your little beastie?
Yes, the vicious beast of Corvolt. Many have begun to tell tales of the beast of Corvolt to their children. They give them nightmares and little terrors in their dreams. But Beastie is a little black ferret, and he's kind of a weird scientific experiment that seems to have gotten away. And he just sort of hovers and floats over a platform of some sort. So you can put him on your shoulder and he'll float. But if you put him on the floor, he'll float or he can walk. It's up to him. But he's black and he's got this sort of fiery almost fur that moves as if it were flickering flame. But he doesn't hurt or anything. He doesn't hurt you. He's just very cuddly and has these burning eyes. It looks like there's a fire inside of him. But he's just asleep, curled up in the bottom of the bag, having a good little nap.
Excellent. Love it. All right. And you put your bag on and hop into whatever vehicle you have and speed off into the Badlands.
Get on my skateboard and kick off and start going.
Love it. I think the funny thing is the other two of you, however you get to the haggle, you most likely will see Kiki on her skateboard on the way there if you're like in a car or a motorbike or something. All right, who would like to describe their character and what their day looks like next? Oh, they did it at the same time. You guys have to fight.
Roll for it.
Rollies.
Rollies.
Come on,
Sure.
roll for
Rollies.
it. Roll for
I don't know
it.
why I was about to roll.
Fires, Shannon.
So
I
high
have-
or low? Higher goes or low goes?
I was gonna say roll off, but
Whoever
yeah.
gets the higher number goes.
I'll re-roll because I feel bad saying roll off after just seeing that I got a 17. So I'll roll again.
Okay. Here we go.
3, 2, 1. I got 11. What did you
Yeah,
get?
3.
So you're
Okay,
not
Kyle
first.
goes first.
No,
you
we
go-
get.
You go
No.
first.
I
Yeah.
won the roll. I
Yeah,
rolled.
so
yeah,
you
but-
go first.
Yeah, but she said higher goes, and then you agreed to
Higher
it.
goes. Yep.
I missed that bit. I was too busy trying to win. Right. So yeah, my name is Clint, or Clint Jacques. I am part of a small gang called the Whisperers. And I'm about 34 years old, stand about 5'10" tall. I tend to wear fairly disheveled clothing, trying not to look too uh, conspicuous as I move around. I tend to have a little flicker on me at all times, like an iPad looking thing. Um, I am currently, well, or that morning, finishing up a very, very small job for the boss, who's just asked me to see if I can find a guy and get a couple photos of him. He's meant to be with meeting with someone he's not meant to. Probably taking photos from like some higher up of Virion core. And not sure who he's meeting with. Don't really care. Just know that this is gonna destroy a cog in the machine that is kind of ruining the city.
I love it. I imagine Clint in like a secure spot, maybe a higher rise, looking down into wherever they are, or maybe it's in a park somewhere, wherever it is. You're kind of laying low and typing into your Flickr pad and keeping an eye on and getting the right pictures.
Yeah, I probably like maybe like a fire escape looking like a bum having a smoke, and just have my arms crossed, but with the flicker there, just the camera sticking out. I'm just kind of making sure it's taking photos of like have set this up to be the right angle for where I'm at, and just look like I'm smoking and chilling out. It's the same cigarette. I don't actually smoke. It's just passing time up there.
Yeah, and I think
investigator.
Exactly. I think but for the baddies. Well, everyone's baddie in this town. But I think we'll get our first roll for the game then to see if you get your pictures.
Backwards, it's just black screen on my chest. Oh, not 7.
7. Okay, so difficult choice. So I'm gonna say you one of two things. You either you get the photo, but at the risk of being caught by someone or spotted by someone, or you don't get the photo at all because a cat jumps down onto your Flickr pad right as the meeting is supposed to happen and knocks your pad off, and you have to chase after it.
Do you mind if I change that a little to say like, because I feel like knocking a pad, I don't want it to break. I'd like make a lot of noise as I catch it, and they see me, and I just kind of just smile and wave. I was sent here to do a job, so I'm happy to be caught as long as the job is done. Well, not caught, but like spotted.
Yeah, I wouldn't say you're not going to get caught, but people are going to at least
I'm in
spot
jail.
you.
I didn't attend this session.
Yeah, it's like, all right, yeah, he's out. they break his legs and he's not part of the game. No, yeah, I'll say the cat jumps down and then either you drop it and make a lot of noise and get caught and it does catch the scene, or you don't get it and but there's no noise and you're not caught. But it sounds like you want to get your shot. Okay. So yeah, I imagine like the cat like jumps down, you get your shot still, the cat is kind of like right there. You have almost like a moment of like of a tussle, but then the cat, both you and the cat calm down. And you see that the Viren Corps representative and whoever they're meeting with seem to spot you and look across, or at least maybe the bodyguard with the Viren Corps rep is looking back over towards you, and you give them a little nice polite wave as you pet this stray cat, and get the fuck out of there, as you've gotten what you need. All right, so you gather up your things and collect it, go through the alleyways you know are going to be quickest to get out of this part of the city, so that if that bodyguard does come looking for you, you can be a ghost in the streets. Anything else before you head off to Corvold? Or I'm sorry, the Haggle.
No, that's pretty much probably would have got the job done. Probably head if I had time, I'd swing past where I meant to like deliver these photos to,
Mhm.
and then just on my way.
Yep, you go to one of the usual drop-off spots that masquerades as something else and drop off the data.
Can I? Is this like a Wi-Fi? Like you send it off, or
You
do you
can
have
send
to
it
like
off.
print?
You can
Print
upload it.
pass.
Yeah,
cool.
there is internet. So you can
Is it
send
like
it off.
citywide Wi-Fi, or is it hotspots around the place?
Probably hotspots around the place.
Okay.
All right, and then you can head off to the haggle however you'd like, whether it's a taxi service, a motorbike, or whatever you imagine Clint has as transportation. All right, Astrid, what do you look like, and where are you, and what are you doing?
All right. This lovely morning, Astrid is dumpster diving. I'm going from dumpster to dumpster, and I'm looking for scrap, looking for pieces to tinker with. Camera zooms in, and it's just a pair of legs hanging out of a dumpster. And just you hear the sounds of like metal banging against each other, maybe some rustling papers, and then aha, and then I'll pop out of the dumpster, and I'm holding kind of like some kind of orb with lots of gears and buttons on it, and I've got I wipe my face, which is constantly dirty, constantly has some sort of like like oil smudge or dirt on it, and I take my goggles, I put them on top of my head, and I'm looking at this, and I brush some of my pink hair, my short messy pink hair, and I look at it with these like really piercing blue eyes. I'm pretty tall, or not. I'm like, okay, not pretty tall. I'm average height, like 5'7". And I've got just like work boots on, work pants, a really just grungy tank top that was white at one point, but it's not anymore. And I just like am holding this orb in my hand, and I take a screwdriver from my belt, and I just start kind of like tinkering with it, completely oblivious to my surroundings. It's just me and this thing that I've found.
Okay. And would this be like in Astrid's like personal workshop within her apartment, or is this like a public workshop or a place where she works?
It's a dumpster. So
I'm sorry, I missed
like,
the dumpster part.
Yeah,
out the back of
I'm
Beering Core
dumpster
somewhere?
diving, Sean. I'm on the hunt for some.
Okay, so you would be
materials,
working
so
on this
I'm dumpster
thing
diving.
right then and there where you're in the dumpster.
I was bent over it in it,
Love
and
it.
now I'm out,
Love
and
it.
I'm standing next to it and just looking at it, and tinkering, just not paying attention to anything that's going on.
All right, I'm gonna ask you to make a roll too, since you're just tinkering with some dumpster tech.
You got it. 9.
All right, difficult choice. Okay, so
My favorite.
So this little weird orb, you can successfully figure it out, and it does, and you learn what it does. But you are gonna take a shock from it and take 1 point of damage. Or it doesn't do anything and spews a bunch of sludge on you.
We're gonna do the second. I'm not gonna figure it out, and it's gonna spew a bunch of sludge on me. And that's
okay,
fine.
so you, as you're tinkering with it, your screwdriver hits the wrong part, and you see a little static goes off, and it doesn't shock you because suddenly just sort of this awful bile comes out of this thing and just sort of bubbles up out of it. Clearly not like oil from a machine or something. This is just like dumpster bile that got into this, and you basically like opened it up. All of this bile had like leached into it, and now it's just like slops out, and like almost a bubble forms, and it pops and it splatters in your face.
So I'll hold it by like a hook that is just on it, and just kind of look at it. It's like, this will probably be useful later. and I'll just like tuck it into a side pocket, and then immediately lean back over the side of the dumpster and keep keep rummaging.
Love it. Love it. So you continue to dumpster dive with an audience of rats that are watching the big pink-haired lady dig in there, just sort of looking and kind of waiting, essentially for you to throw food back behind you to land out in the street, in the alley, and they go as they eat it up and just sit there. And when you get out of the dumpster, you can see that you have a whole audience of rats there that are all just like,
oh, shoo, out of my way.
As you walk back out onto the streets of Corvolt with your whatever tinkering trash you got in your bag, out into the busy streets of this area, as you can just sort of hear the different life throughout the streets, the different sounds all throughout. The cars in the roads, the cars above, hovering in the sky, and the lights all kind of cramping down on you, but you kind of like it in this city. But you need to head out into the open fields of the outer areas.
So I will walk back to where I parked my very, very roughly built from scratch motorbike. It pollutes the air. It makes noise when it drives, but it's functional. It gets me from A to B, and I built it with my own two hands. So I need to wind something and kick it a couple of times in order for it to start, but I will ride that over to the haggle.
Absolutely. An otherwise extremely illegal item, if the Willow Accord was not a joke in this city.
Correct.
Violates all environmental regulations, all safety regulations of the Willow Accord that are no longer enforced in this city. So otherwise, you'd have a very clean electric bike that would get you around.
But this is not that.
Nope, it is coughing up fumes, and you put whatever fuel you could find into it.
Yep. You know what? I'll take some of that dumpster bile that I had, and I'll just kind of top it off.
Can I say that while, say Kiki and I get to the haggle beforehand, we're just kind of sitting there quietly having a drink of whatever they have, whether that's coffee or, maybe coffee with a bit of whiskey in it. I just sort of just lean across the Kiki like, Astrid's coming. Can hear her. Can smell her.
The Astrid?
Yeah, she's been working again.
Actually, before you continue that, Astrid, what is your reputation in Corvolt?
I would say, I'm not hated. I'm not liked. I'm just the weirdo that shows up sometimes, but people know that I get shit done. So nobody really I don't really have people I talk to, and I don't know. I'm just the resident weirdo. But
yeah,
if somebody needed something to be cobbled together or something fixed, if I happen to be around, I would definitely help. But I kind of just go about doing my own thing until somebody was like, hey, hi, I need your help. Right. Okay. And then I would gladly help, and then just go back to
you don't seek out stuff. Jobs find you.
Correct.
Correct. Okay.
Yes.
So you're known as someone who can fix things and do it in a spectacularly odd fashion. So you have a reputation. I almost feel like you don't even know your reputation truly. People think that everyone thinks you're weird, but the reality of it is everyone's like, yeah, she's a little weird, but she can fix anything. So we need her on this mission.
That's exactly.
People just show up at your place, and you're like, "Why are you here?
Yeah,
why do you?
How did you get my address? What the fuck do you have? Give me. Let me see. 2 minutes. Give me 2 minutes.
Excellent. Okay, so to jump back to the haggle. So to describe the haggle, it's essentially like a large warehouse, old abandoned warehouse that has been repurposed into a biker bar essentially. It is got a sort of long middle area with a dance floor. There's usually a live music. There's a stage in there, and there's this area all around it. Around the dirt roads that lead to it are covered in abandoned cars, abandoned motorbikes that have just been rusting out here for decades and decades and decades, other than the area where folks will leave their own working vehicles. Outside has some spotlights looking out over this area. Inside, it's very industrial in there, with a sort of mezzanine second floor with sort of just metal mezzanine up there where people can move about, and a back office area and some, a nice well-stocked bar. As the two of you sit there at a table with whatever drinks you might get, you can get coffee. It's going to be some kind of weird, shitty instant coffee, but you're more likely to find something better if you're ordering alcohol here.
Oh, no. I want an Olay, please. I need one of those energy drinks, like the real good ones. A little bit of vodka too, not too bad, but I need an Olay.
Was this world's version of Ireland? Because I want an Irish coffee.
Oh yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Can I get an Irish coffee? What the fuck's that? Like, yeah.
So you can get a Lacuna coffee.
Lacuna coffee, please. Need a kick in the morning to get things moving.
I can kick you. Is that a yes?
I just look at your hands and then like over my shoulder as the smell of Astrid comes in before she does. And just, do you girls never bathe? It's gonna be hard to keep a low profile.
We bathe regularly, thank you.
As you're like flicking paint at me with your I bathe regularly.
It's dry. It's dry. It's just gluey and tacky.
As Astrid, you walk in. You do all. I will say there is a waft of dumpster bile that comes ahead of her as the door opens.
The door opens, and I kind of like do like a little flick with the hat to like get some of the dumpster bile off, and then I put the witch's hat on and adjust it and just look around looking for where I'm supposed to be. I have a vague idea of who I'm supposed to meet with, but it's not, and I'm kind of just basing it on like what I see.
I'll just put my cane in the air and just kind of like lasso it around.
That's Astrid. Oh, when,
yeah.
Oh my god, I didn't I
realize she smelled that bad.
No, as I hadn't heard that fact about her.
Like you, allergic to showers.
I shower. I just like to art. So sassy.
It's at that point that Astrid, you would reach Clint and Kiki, and you would hear from the bar, the bartender. You recognize the bartender, Astrid, as a man named Ash, who is wearing like really, really strong looking guy, tan skin, works outside a lot when he's not bartending, bald head, some scars from some scraps he's been in, sleeveless shirt, and he just yells off to you, "Oh, Astrid! Your lucky hell is not here tonight."
I was really hoping that she was. I really wanted to show her that I was wearing her favorite accessory. Can I have my usual, please?
Send it over.
Thank you.
Miss Astrid
Even as a usual.
It's because she is a usual.
So, you are Clint and you are Kiki?
We've worked together before, Astrid.
Right. Yes, that's right. It's been a long day. I found some interesting things, and yeah.
Can guide? I tried to say DM. Brain.
Mr. Guide.
Mr. Guide,
Mr.
sir.
Guide.
If I could, I'd like to make a bit of a symbol in there with my hand and push it towards it. If you allow this to work, to use shield, which is using an action point or an adventure point, whatever it's called. But mostly I want to wrap this light around her, which will keep the smell in. It will block damage on her, but also it's to make her a little less noticeable to everyone within about 500 yards.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I would absolutely allow you to use an action point to do that, or an adventure point. I always forget, is it action point or adventure point? It is action. I thought so.
We're using a point.
It is action.
You told me adventure point.
Oh, it is.
My sheet says action.
Okay, everyone. The AP.
Action.
It's fine. The AP.
Your AP points. You can use your AP points to do that. And I imagine, I imagine, Clint, you have some kind of like watch or technical bracer that kind of like focuses this sort of effect, and it just sort of and goes all around you, Astrid, and just. And Astrid, you can still you can still breathe and everything, obviously, but like just your own smell is really concentrated within your own nose.
What the fuck is this? Why?
So just so you know, Shannon, you have a aura around you of soft light that should diminish a bit, but the shield blocks up to 3 points of damage, and it's only broken when you take 3 or more points of damage in a single hit. So.
It's just up forever.
Forever. It has Great. No duration. That will last for all
Excellent.
time. I have it on me as well. We'll see how Kiki goes.
I'm yet to earn mine.
I've used 20% of my points already.
Keeping your own odor in. So that's why it's like if you've ever just been like walking around in a day, you were like working out or working outside, and you're like, what is that smell? Oh, it's me.
Yeah. But Astrid being who she is. You guys should really take a shower, maybe. Kind of smells.
Just deadpan look at her.
It's lovely to meet you, Astrid. I've heard so much about you. Hi, big fan.
It's nice to meet you too. A fan of what? The fan of fixing things? Do you like to fix things?
No, not at all. No, the opposite.
You like to break things?
You both do. This is going to make life very interesting.
I like to enjoy life, okay? What happens as a result is consequence. It's not my fault if that fancy vase is in the way of where I'm going. It should have moved. It should have known better.
Ash comes over with a big drink for Astrid. Astrid, do you want to decide what your drink is, or do you give me the liberty to make it?
I give you liberty.
Okay.
Go for it.
So if Clint has his Irish or his Lacuna coffee, and Kiki has an energy drink that like the can of is just like as bright as the neon lights in this bar. He puts down this huge glass mug that has just filled to the brim with this sort of fruity cocktail that has sort of like layers of red, blue, green, the rainbow in it, filled with a bunch of synthetic fruit that he has on these wooden skewers all throughout. It's just sort of like cubes of a certain texture that taste like pineapple, but are not actually pineapple, with a big straw and a big umbrella in it. There you
Cheers,
go.
Ash.
And he puts it down, and as he puts it down, you can see that there is a note attached to the side of it.
Thank you very much.
He nods and walks off, smiling to the other two. The note, if you open it, basically just says contact in the back room. Go through the doors casually.
All right. It appears that our contact is ready for us.
I get up and start moving.
Wait a minute. We have been instructed to go casually. So go casually. Yes?
I didn't hear that bit, but I just walk fairly nonchalantly with my big limp and cane. So, like, it's kind of like if anyone notices, they should be like, ah, poor guy, bung leg. And that's kind of it as I walk off into the back room.
I immediately pictured a house.
Yes.
Yeah. Like,
or maybe a little
fairly
more
heavily.
Yeah.
Just grumpy.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I lean fairly heavily on that cane.
So he makes a beeline for the back room.
I'll grab my skateboard and backpack. Sorry.
Izue, after you.
Oh no.
Did you lose something?
Check your pockets.
Kiki.
Check your pockets.
Kiki, there are a bunch. There's just a little pile of scrap in your bag that wasn't there before. It is covered in garbage. As you can see, Beast is sort of lounging on it, and licking at a almost empty can of energy drink. Like he found a can that someone threw on the ground, and he's just sort of slurping up whatever was left in it.
Amazing.
I'm just like, like just check your pocket. Just yes. I'm assuming you were out somewhere, but just check your pockets in case you're missing anything like keys or money.
All right. After you.
Okay. Do up the bag nice and tight. I'm like, just fucking stop.
You hear just sort of this as he's also hopped up now on this neon energy drink.
I'm just like holding the bag.
The bag is just freaking out.
Just go through the door. I'm like casual.
And Astrid, what do you do? Do you sit there for a little bit?
Well, I check my pockets as Kiki suggested.
Some of those fun-looking gears you found earlier are gone.
Oh.
You know, the ones that had a little sludge on them.
Yeah. I was really looking forward to working with those. Take a big swig. And just kind of like, if anybody is staring as I walk by, I just will like tilt the brim of the hat.
You do see a few of the bruisers you're used to, who are like the most devoted to Hella, the owner. And she, a few of these bruisers look at you and just sort of like stare you down, like not in a, like you know them. You probably even know them by name, these bruisers, because every time you're here, if Hella's here, she has them harass you.
Greg, Gary, good to see you.
They're just kind of leaning back against the wall, like near where you have to go. And they, knowing that you are like, whoever you're meeting with is here, like under the good graces of Hella, they're just sort of like, Astrid.
It's good to see you. Sort of.
One of them just sort of like spits into a trash can nearby, and it's just sort of like, behave.
Disgusting. I always do.
And they nod their head back there.
And I don't need your permission. I was going anyway.
And you see one of them like stops the other one, who's sort of just like, they do need our permission. Correct, they do need our permission. This is our fucking bar. It's fine.
And I just do a
Ella
little
knows.
like, cheers in their direction.
Mm-hmm.
Swagger on past them.
As you all enter in here, you would find this is sort of like the back lounge area. It's not entirely like private. It's just sort of separated from the rest of the bar. You can see there's a pool table in the middle where you can see there are two people playing a game of pool. One of them is it's hard to tell how old these people are because they are so augmented that they like there's scar tissue all over their bodies because they've been doing illegal cybernetic enhancements on themselves. So they have, but it's like they do it in a way though where they want it all concealed. They want to look as normal as possible while having these cybernetic enhancements, but it just makes them look horrible because they have so much scar tissue. They're so scratched up. Their skin has like knobs all over it. They look like someone who's heavily done sort of like under the skin body augmentation. The only area where you can see they have any kind of this augmentation that's visible is across their jaws, and their eyes have a distinct red light in the center of them. As the one of them may be a man in his 30s, maybe, and one of them is a woman, probably maybe 20s. Uncertain. Both of them with shaved bald heads, with several tattoos that you recognize as Chrome Eater tattoos. In the back corner, there's a gentleman who is not all augmented up. He looks fairly normal, and he's typing away vigorously at a Flickr laptop with his own sort of like headpiece on, or sort of like this attachment to his ear that kind of comes over his eye, and he is typing away vigorously. He looks better dressed than them. Clint, give me a roll. 4. Okay. Okay.
Failed.
You failed.
Terribly.
Yes.
Horrible.
So you don't. This is basically a roll to see if you know who this person might be or who they might be affiliated with. I would say with the difficult choices here, though, you basically don't learn anything, and you basically are just walk in and just start like staring at this guy, trying to figure it out in your head. And as you're doing that, the male Chrome Eater sort of like stands up with the pool stick, and you can see he has a cigarette in his mouth. He takes it out and just kind of walks up to you, thinking that you're giving him weird eyes. And he kind of gets tall and puffs his chest out as he comes closer to you. And he looks you kind of, and he is quite tall, not probably same height, maybe an inch taller, as he's kind of getting in your face now. Oh, what are you looking at?
You're one of them steel swallowers, right?
Is this the person we're supposed to talk to? Or are these the three, as the other two come in behind? The woman hits one of the makes a hole at the pool game and then looks up, and she kind of scans each of you. Yeah, those are them. Those are the people we're meeting. Come on, come in here. Take a seat. As they both, she kind of comes around and she puts a hand on the shoulder of the big Chrome Eater man. She has a fully prosthetic metal arm that she puts on his shoulder and turns him around and pushes him to walk over to a table in the corner of the room. And this corner is the opposite corner where the guy is typing away at the laptop, but big enough for all of you to sit at. And the two of them sit on one side and sort of gesture for you to come, and then raise their hand. And you can see there's a little window in this room that goes directly to the bar, where Ash can see them raising their hand, and he comes rushing in with some drinks. But you all can sit down if you'd like.
Yeah,
After you.
I'll walk over and extend a hand to whoever is at the table that I'm meant to be meeting with, the guy at the laptop here.
So he's not at the table. He's in a different space. The person in charge seems to be the female Chrome Eater who kind of like moved the big guy away.
Yeah. In that case, I'll move to the table and extend my hand. But heard you needed a couple people for a job. Name's Clint. Nice to meet you. And in my hand, I'll have like almost like a business card for the Whisperers. Mm-hmm. So I'll palm that off to her, as if she takes it. If she doesn't take it, I'll just like flick it out to my fingers to hold to her.
She's a little more. I mean, she's still rough around the edges, but she's a little more business oriented than the man. She shakes your hand and takes the card. She shakes it with the metal arm, and looks and says,
I'll wince a bit.
Nadia from the Chrome Eaters. And she like is picking something out of her teeth as she holds your card up. Whispers, you're one of those conspiracy theorists?
Not what I'd call us.
Yeah, I think that's what all conspiracy theorists say about themselves, right? You know, I'm not a kook. I know the secrets. I know the secret truths of the world, right?
I don't think that there's secrets I know. I think there's secrets other people are hiding from us. If you want those secrets, I happen to be someone that can facilitate that.
I guess that's why you're here. And she looks to the other two. And who are you?
I have taken out my the little orb thing that I was playing with before, and I've got my screwdriver out, and I'm just sitting with it and poking at it, and without looking up from it, I will just say, "My name is Astrid."
Astrid, that's right. Yeah, you're the techie, the junker that everyone talks about, raves about, right?
I prefer the term tinkerer, but I guess junker has a nice ring to it.
Tinkerer, old-fashioned, very gregarian of you. But yeah, I think we have some use for that. What do you got there?
I don't know, actually. I just found it earlier, and I don't know. I think there might be something on the inside that I'm trying to get at, but I can't find the correct scroll.
You see Ash comes in at this point with a few drinks for them and plops down some like finger food, and you see the male chrome eater just comes and just starts housing that food. Like if you're trying to grab any, he's just sort of like and as he's eating, he just sort of like licks his fingers and says, "Oh, it's an old music player." And he grabs it out of your hands and just smacks it on the table, and it just starts to and sort of like these holographic lights come up around it really quickly.
I just intense focus right on it, looking at it, and then I didn't even look on the bottom. That's probably where it all was, right? It was all on the bottom of the circle, the sphere.
My dad has one of those.
Vintage,
Really?
real vintage.
Yeah.
So this is
How
our
much do you
fixer.
think it's worth?
This is our fixer. Doesn't even know an old jukeball.
She's learning. Give her a bit. Young and basically
you don't.
trained.
No, you don't need to speak for me. I was going to figure out what it was. I like to look at the bones of the operation and piece it all together. All right.
You like to take the long road.
All right.
The
Yes.
scenic route.
You missed. If you take that's the wrong accent. If you take the short route, you miss things. You tend to miss things. So yes, I like to take the scenic route. Give me that.
I like you. I like her.
You take it back, and like the holographic lights go off, and it just a little bit of smoke comes out of the top, as it seems like him turning it on while it still had sludge inside may have broken it.
So then, as Kiki's gonna go to introduce herself, you'll just see Astrid just knocking it against the table and just making.
I'll hang up my backpack on like a hook or something behind the door. I'll be like just as high off the ground as possible by the string so that it keeps the bag closed with Beast in there. It's just on the wall. I'm like just to hang that up there, just smack, just settle down. Hi. I'm Kiki. Kiana. I prefer to go by Kiki, but yeah, that's me. Hello. Nadia. Hi.
She nods to you, and the male chrome eater kind of like shakes a like pointing a chicken wing that is just like heavily splattered in buffalo sauce, so it like sort of splatters out as he does it. And he's got a mouthful of food, and he's like, "She's the new one. She's the fresh meat, the one learning the ropes." And Nadia's like puts a hand up and puts the chicken wing down and goes, I know. You remember I organized this, correct, Kurt? Okay, let's try to talk with your don't talk with your mouth full.
He's really sweet. He's a good helper. I like him. He's enthusiastic.
He's got his
by the way-
purposes.
Okay. I just wanted to ask really quickly, Nadia. I get nothing out of this except purely for joy. But do you want some art on your chrome on your arm? Because I think it could look really cool. I've got some markers.
And she kind of looks at you and sits back, kind of like displaying her arm out, and she goes, I guess that is why we learned about you, tagging up the city real close to CPD and as well as the Corpo building. So yeah, you know what? While I'm talking, why don't you give me a little art? And she puts her arm down on the table.
Any particular style you want, or just let me go for it?
She kind of smiles, and it's weird when they smile because they've got that entirely cybernetic jaw. So like you see like the lights of the mechanical parts coming out of her mouth, almost like when you look at like the RGB of like a computer, a home computer. It's just sort of like that kind of comes out from behind her teeth. It makes her teeth look like black also. So it's just a very unsettling smile as she just sort of looks at you and goes, whatever you want.
As she starts, I'll lean forward and just be like, well, boss, given this one's predilection towards the scenic route, do we have a time limit we're working on for this job? It's a rush or take our time?
No, it's a slight rush. We need you to head back into Core Vault for the Samhain parade happening tomorrow night. While everyone's busy with the parade and their costumes and all the, spooky bullshit of Samhain, we need you to sneak into somewhere and get something for us. We really need. Well, really, we don't need you to get it. We need you to get him to it. As she points over to the nerdy guy in the corner, who you now look and you like get a glimpse of him as the lights are kind of like on a little bit more, and he's got like just sort of like he's got a mullet. That's what I'll just say what it is. He's got a mullet of really dark hair. He's kind of looks like he's not particularly strong, not particularly fast, but his eyes are laser focused on whatever he's working on in there. And he has sort of like this vest that has a number of contraptions on it, all with their own little lights and features. Clearly, those of you, I'd say Clint and Astrid would easily be able to tell that this guy is in some way a hacker, someone who is able to break into things, someone who's able to manipulate the flickers as well. A very valuable person within any kind of heist like this, but typically a bit on the weak side.
So maybe you should explain the job before I ask any more questions then.
Yeah. As you see, she grabs one of the wings from Kurt's plate and he growls a little bit at her as she starts to bite into it, and she looks and then she takes a big swig of this glass mug of beer. Yeah. The Chrometers want something that the Biozyn Research Center has. The Biosyntax company has been doing some weird experiments as far as we all know. You know them. They're bioengineers. They're making weird stuff. They're splicing genetics. There's something we need from their freezers. Particular genetic code that's available there. For some of our underground engineers to take a look at.
What do you need it for?
Well, that's not part of the job. I just need it.
Fair enough.
Retrieve a box, don't look in the box. Got it.
Yep, that's the gist of it. Now, it's important that you get him there, because he is the one who's going to be able to get into the room. But also, not only into the room, but he knows how to handle this kind of material.
Sorry, question. Is this genetic code a biological sample, or is it data stored on a cool drive?
It's a biological sample. Now,
So
old...
is he a biohacker?
And she smiles that creepy smile again and kind of points the chicken wing at you as she was about to point it at him. And he goes, exactly.
Oh, Oh. Ah, I get it. Okay, so is this basically just another upgrade for you guys? And he's the guy that can make that happen.
And she kind of like leans back, like she makes a face that you're like, she's like, no, it's not just that. It's just we just need it. We just need it.
That's fine. I just think that's awesome. I like it.
Yeah, it's
It gives me an idea. Hang on a second. And I go back into the art and I change it up a little bit and I'm just like, ooh.
As she kind of like starts like peeking, she's like, oh, careful. She's like, essentially, it's something that we think would be valuable for our own purposes.
I like it.
It's at this point that your backpack starts shaking wildly, Kiki, as comes flopping out of it is Beast, the fiery ferret, as he just sort of
oh shit,
and just starts across the room and jumps up onto the pool table and lands on one of the balls and just starts to roll on top of it and like play with it.
Oh.
And clearly he's trying to steal the ball that's too heavy for him.
I'm so sorry.
She tosses the chicken wing bone onto the floor and kind of points over to him with her buffalo sauce laden mechanical fingers. Says, "That's the exact kind of critter that Biozyn makes. I wouldn't be surprised if that guy comes from there."
That's where I got him.
He rolls and bounces the ball off the table and now starts to like walk on it fast over to the chicken wing bone and grabs it and starts gnawing on it as he sits on the ball.
I think with that, I'll probably be finished with Nadia's arm. What I've been using, if you're okay with me having this in my possession, is an engraving pen. It's multifunctional.
Yeah.
So it's a tattoo gun. It's basically a tattoo gun pen, but
Totally.
It's an engraving one for mechanical sort of
I
artwork.
love that.
So I can make artwork that cannot be erased unless you want to damage the structure that it's on and make it look even uglier. So I've gone and given her a engraved tattoo of the Penrose Triangle, just repeating over and over.
Ooh.
Moving with where the muscle structure would be on a human arm. So I'm making it look more human, but optical illusion.
I love that. I want that tattoo. But she looks at it as you're doing it, and she's very impressed as you're like apologizing for your little fire rat. I'm sorry, fire ferret.
No, call it a fire rat. It's fine. He's annoying sometimes. I love it.
I almost said fire weasel, which would be closer. But,
yeah.
But she sort of laughs this off, and yeah, like absolutely, like you can snatch him, put him back in your bag, and she looks to the rest of you and says, the office building of the research center should be completely empty for the Samhain festivities. Worst you might find is a janitor, which I think you all are capable of taking care of or sneaking around. The real important thing is getting past the security. There will likely be a few guards who are working the shift while the rest of them are all out celebrating, but we're expecting it to be rather loose given the holiday season. So get in. We can help get you in access to a particular floor, and from our knowledge, the freezers are 2 floors up, so you would just need to make your way up to where the freezers are held. Break in, get Zeb over there in there. He'll do his job, make sure no one messes with Zeb, get Zeb out, and the money's yours.
How do we get out?
So as long as you don't fuck anything up.
Floor? What if we... Just on the off chance, if something did go wrong, how would we get out?
We will have to figure it out.
Well, we could give you
I'm
a
good
few
with that.
options. you'll most likely, if you fuck up, you'll have to figure it out yourself. But if you succeed on everything and just need to get out of there, you can make your way back down to the floor that we deposit you through, and find the same location to exit from.
Cool.
Now, if you fuck everything up, guards find you, get into a firefight or something like that, we're out. And there's no rendezvous. So,
Okay.
lesson short, don't fuck it up. We'll be ready to take care of you, get you out of there, so long as there's nothing following you.
Do we know if some other party is interested in this sort of tech that they've got for you?
Yeah, I'm sure I'm sure every gang in Corvault would be happy to get this for their own purposes, mostly to sell. But we want to use it, so we have a unique interest in it. Probably a little bit more informed about it. Others would just see this as stealing intellectual property and selling it on the black market.
I'm just worried about who this falls back on if you get caught. If we get caught, or if it gets found out afterwards that you're using it, it's going to be fairly obvious.
Yeah, leave that up to our engineers and our biohackers.
Understood. You're the boss.
Once something like this makes it to the streets, it's fairly easy to, conceal where it's coming from, conceal who got it, and also disperse encrypted forms of it that might conceal where your trail when you're using it. Once we have it, though, it doesn't matter. It's a Pandora's box type of thing. So they want to come after us. That's their funeral.
I was more thinking of making this look like a bit of corporate terrorism.
You want to
Maybe
blame it on someone else?
Blow the place up, make it look like it's been destroyed rather than stolen.
So that we can pay extra for if you can make that happen.
I can
Got
do
any
that.
explosives and timers?
She looks
I
over to
can cobble
Kurt.
something together. Oh,
Anything more reliable than what she can put together? Just in case.
Give her the equipment. She can make it.
We can give you some
just what
stuff.
I am known for.
Yeah, we can give you some supplies, and if you have the ability, since it's such a short turnaround, we can't necessarily get you a bunch of explosives, but we can give you some things from our own supplies here out in the outer territories. Kurt,
I'm sure I'd be able to. Well, obviously I can't build things and, investigate things like you can, but I think I could set quite a few things up to fail for the big corporations.
anything you
All
can
it takes
do.
is something to tip over and then everything collapses. So it's not hard.
So we'll put it this way. Kurt, you're going to give her, and she points to Astrid, some of your stash, okay? You see Kurt kind of gives a little tantrum there, and he goes, "No!
Come on, Kurt.
It's taken me months to get that stash stocked up." Kurt.
I will replenish it. Just let me see what you have. I might already have some things in my pockets here. Let me see what you have, and I will only take what I need.
He spits a whole chicken bone out that he was chewing on, and
disgusting.
looks to Nadia, and she looks to him and just sort of gives him a curt stare, and you see the red point in her eyes get a little brighter, and he kind of backs down a little bit, and he shoves his chair back, screeching in the room, and stands up real tall over Astrid, and looks down at her and goes, "Follow me," and leads you outside to where their vehicle is, where some of his stash is.
Are we gonna pass Craig and Gary on the way, or did we go out a back way?
No, you'd have to walk through the main bar, so you would pass by them.
Okay. I would like to, on the way out, I would like to drop these tiny little contraptions that I have on me. They're kind of like, they're these like little, they kind of look like little wind-up toys. but
Mhm.
they're put together with little gears and scraps of metal, but they've got little legs, and I quickly just like wind them up and drop one for each of them, and it's just gonna my goal is to have them go over and just like give them a little nip, and they'll get a little shock when it happens.
Go ahead and give me a roll for it.
She
I'm
kills two
imagining those
guards.
wind-up chickens at like Easter. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's
What'd you
a
get?
3.
It's a 3. Excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
So as you I imagine
That
Kurt
rolls.
is ahead of you and walking, and you're just sort of winding up these little things, and you immediately drop one of them, and it sort of completely shatters, and like parts go
Yeah.
flinging out and like
Yeah.
into the dance floor, and like
Oh,
when
no.
people are dancing, someone steps on one. And they get shocked. Another person dances, steps on, as everyone on the dance floor is getting a very light tase. And then you're like, shit. And then you look down, and the one in your hand that you've been clocking, like you've been
Yep.
over clocking it as you twist, watching that,
overwinding
and
it.
suddenly it just bursts in your hands as the spring snaps, and you just feel the shock in your hand, and your hand gets really numb as you're gonna take 1 point of damage.
Okay.
Aww.
Which you don't take because Clint's
Oh, because of
shield
the shields.
shield blocks
Yeah,
it.
that's
So
right.
just
Yeah.
you see that little like shield kind of like you see a little phase go over it as
Yeah.
the
The
shock
ripple of
dissipates across the shield. As you still jump because your brain thinks you feel pain.
It was ready. Right.
And like you feel pain because your brain tricks you into thinking you feel the pain, but there's no damage and your hand's
Yep.
completely fine.
Yeah.
As the doors that they walked out kind of swing, and we kind of see this, just kind of sigh, and then turn to Nadia and just any chance I could get a partial payment in body mod? And I tap my eye, looking for some sort of camera, maybe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the chrometer engineers could probably take a look for a healthy proportion of your pay. We could give you at least cheaper than what you'd pay on the normal market, a mod for the eye. We can get a camera in there.
Needs to be inconspicuous, is all.
Oh, well, everybody's got mods in their eyes these days, so, if it's a little noticeable, people would just think you got yourself a nice little weird scanner just to, identify when the roads are too slippery when you're driving. But we can probably work on getting it as subtle as possible. Yeah, I think we can manage that.
All right, where do we meet tomorrow morning, right?
Well, tomorrow morning, you have the day. We're going to meet in the evening, right as the sun sets, right as the festivities begin. The offices will close. The people will wander off and start getting drunk on the streets for the parade. We can get you in on the 20th floor, which is the the researchers' offices, which have a direct access to the floor above where their bio chambers are, where they're growing these sort of things, and sort of a freaky greenhouse sort of a situation. Get through there. We'll lead you to the back office there, where Zeb over there, will hack in, open the doors to the elevator that leads up to the next floor, where the freezers are.
All right, understood. Is there any files you want while I'm in there? And I just I'll take my flicker out and just like take a photo of like a wall, and then I'll like just show her, then delete it straight away. I don't want photos of her thing, but just like anything you need to look at.
If you could find anything that is related to the work they've done with this genetic code, we'll be happy to pay for that as well.
You got
proprietary knowledge
name?
about how they utilize those things will help our bioengineers and hackers.
Got a project name? I'll take photos while he's hacking when we're in there.
Yeah, it's a little, these corpo types, they're very lame with their naming of things. I mean, I understand. And she sort of puts her hand up and says, I know we're called the Chrometers, but Project Chimera.
Chimera. Okay.
I think my dad worked on that one.
Your dad? You work for Biozyn?
Yeah. Well, he owns a bit of it. So I think.
Oh,
I
really?
don't know. They've got their hands in a lot of different honey jars, as it were, or something. I don't know what
Odd.
the wording is, but
Didn't know we had a corporal princess playing Bandit.
I must stand up
They
as
suck.
she's trying to
They-
talk about this and just like, see you later. And I'll walk out like unhappy working with the man. Daughter of the man. Daughter of a man. Yep.
daughter of the man, pretty much. Yeah, like I don't think. There's a reason I do what I do. Okay, they fucking suck.
Oh, dude, you're preaching to the choir, sweetie. Just
So that's why I'm here. Like I want to help, and
I imagine like she like flinches a little bit with her her mechanical arm as you're engraving it, and she looks, and like with that flinch, there's a serious face that comes over, and when these chrometers have serious faces, like they look like demonic almost with all the body modifications, where she just sort of looks at you and just goes, almost in a droning voice, "We don't like working with corporal princesses because they always have somewhere to run. Don't fuck this up."
I'm not exactly welcome. So okay.
And then that sort of serious face vanishes as she like holds up her arm and looks at us. Fucking beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome. I thought you'd like to see what dedication looks like.
Well, looks great. All right. Tomorrow, we'll meet you 3 blocks from the Biozyn building in the alleyway. We'll bring old Zeb here, deliver him to you. You deliver him to the freezers.
Okay.
All right. We'll see you
Okay.
then.
Thank you.
Outside,
Okay.
Astrid, you're brought to this this car, and he pops open the trunk, and you can see it's like your dream come true. Just like parts and parts and parts and materials, and then he starts to open up a locked case. Opens it up, series of chemicals and powders of all sorts that could be combined for a very bombastic reaction, or just a really fun night out.
Well, you certainly have the stash here.
This is off limits. This is off limits. This is off limits.
What if I need that thing to make the boom?
You don't need it.
I think I need that thing.
There's enough boom in here. There's enough boom in here.
But I need a little more boom.
There's this big cyborg of a man arguing with this woman, this petite woman in a witch hat outside, as there's just sort of bikers pulling from cigarettes and like fifths, and just like staring as they're leaning against underneath those like top down street lights in this gold, sort of like bright gold light of the outside area.
So I will take a little bit of everything that is on limits, and then I want to try and palm some of the stuff that's off limits. I'm gonna use a different die this time.
Give me a roll.
Yeah, I'm using a different dice because that other one has not been kind. Here we go.
What'd you get?
4.
It's funny, every time I talk about this game with anyone, they're like, 11 or higher? That's so easy. This game's so easy. And then I'm like, with no
Had
modifiers.
not rolled above. Right,
no
no
thing you have to remember,
modifiers.
you roll so well in D&D because you have a plus 15 to your stealth.
Everything, yeah, exactly.
Says Sean, who has an average roll of 30 in our games.
Jeez.
Because of my
Yeah.
plus 17s.
Yeah,
My
I
plus
know.
17s. Okay, you said a 4?
Yeah.
Okay. You fuck up. It's not a critical failure, but you like you're not even like you think you're being coy. You think you're talking to him, you're sparring with him verbally, which is really just him being like, no, this is my stuff. I don't care what you
May I? Because I realize I have a character sheet.
you with abilities, yes.
With abilities, yep. Can I give myself advantage / reroll that shit if I do some misdirection and just throw my screwdriver and drop it, and as I'm throwing it, use my scintillate ability and just make a bunch of little fireworks, so he has to blah, 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 for a second,
So this is
I
great.
can try and grab some of the shit.
This is a great use of an ability. Absolutely, go ahead and reroll. But you have to take whatever roll this one is.
That's fair. Here we go. That's much better. That's an 18.
Okay. Okay, so I'll say since it's an 18, it's a success, and this is to pocket some of the off-limit stuff. You're able to snatch. I'll say if you had gotten a nat 20, you'd have been able to snatch the best one there. But I'll say you get them with the success. You're able to.
Close.
You're pretty close, but close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades.
Yeah.
So you snatch the little vial, one of the little vials, while he's distracted by these scintillating lights that kind of, I imagine you almost make it seem like it's an accident that all puffs out, almost like it comes out of your bag from some of the mechanical parts in there. And he's like, oh,
for sure.
I thought you were a serious fixer.
I am a serious fixer, but that comes with certain aesthetics here. I'm sorry. This is how I work.
As you pocket one of the vials that will make your boom extra boomy.
Excellent. Wonderful. Is that all right? I took what I could and I left what I could. Is that enough? There, Kurt.
Fine.
Thank you for your graciousness. I very much appreciate it.
You said you'd replace whatever you use.
No, I said if I already had what it was, I wouldn't take it. I believe that's what I said. So, tell you what,
he
Kurt,
slams the trunk shut.
If I find anything, interesting, I shall. I'll let you know.
Yeah. And you see he starts to storm off and he shouts, Nadia! As you can hear, you can tell this guy has absolutely biomechanically enhanced legs as he's stomping away. The ground cracks underneath his steps.
I was going to ask if I could kind of come in. I wanted to come in as this was wrapping up to try to get something small myself.
Sure.
But if he's slamming this shut, can I just kind of go on the other side, and as he's slamming it shut, just kind of slide my cane in between where the boot and the thing would close, the trunk would close, so that it doesn't quite close and he goes stumping off?
Yeah, give me a roll for that.
14.
Excellent. So yeah, you're able to do that. He's so pissed that he doesn't notice that the trunk doesn't fully close, and he literally turns and walks away, and the trunk pops open because the cane just stops it from closing, and it just comes back up as it would naturally. And he's so mad, he's stomping, he doesn't notice that the trunk is fully open, and he's walked away.
Well, then I'm fucking loading my pockets.
Yeah, and I'll just wink to Astrid, and then you said he's got some crazy stuff in there, right?
Yeah.
Can I see if he has any cesium?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not even going to require a roll. He 100% has that.
Cool. We're going to make some explosions. All right.
You just, Clint, you'll just see.
That's why I like having someone who knows chemistry in a game like this.
We just need that and water, and we have explosions. So I'm just gonna take it, and if you reach for it, I'm it's
basically
it melts at 22 degrees Celsius, so it should be liquid right now, and it's like a little vial, and I'll just 100% silvery gold, and I'll just be like.
It is what you were reaching for, the top thing, the nat 20 thing that you were reaching for.
Yeah, I'll you'll see, Clint, that it's just when Astrid gets like really excited about something, she doesn't smile. She just like her eyes get really, 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 really big. So that's just what you see, and then I just start just like load my pockets with just random things that are in there. And then when I go to reach for that thing, I'll stop when you stop me.
I'll just be like, the sweat on your hands can kill us if you touch this. And just I'm very carefully like loading it. What I'll probably do is in my cane is like made to be pretty sturdy, and it's got like a blade and a section at the bottom. I'm gonna unscrew it and just like slide in like a few vials, and then slowly do the cap back up, and like I'll leave the blade like a bit out so it doesn't puncture down, and I'll probably just take some like a rag cloth and just like wrap it around so it doesn't slide in, just jams it up.
Yep, absolutely.
And I'll just use that.
This is as Kiki walks up.
Like, what is going on here?
We are fully stocked for our infiltration. Got everything that we need, plus a little more.
Awesome. I'm keen.
Time to rest then.
Yeah.
So you could do one of two things. You can head. It's pretty late at night, so heading back to Core Vault, you'll get there pretty late. Or you can find a motel out in the Badlands and stay there for the night, and drive in together in the morning.
Let's do that.
Okay. How? Just as we're going to leave, I'm just gonna Kiki, carry backpack for a minute.
Sure.
Any like sort of like powdered dumb explosive that needs like quite a bit of charge or heat to go off, I'm just gonna start like pretty much just shoveling into the backpack. Little fire ferret is like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's a good thing the fire ferret's fur is not actually fire, as he sort of starts up.
Flammable.
And he starts to sneeze.
Bless you. Bless you. Could you just what you putting in there?
High explosive.
What do I need to do
The fire ferret
not?
starts eating some of the explosive material.
What? No. Just open your mouth.
Nah,
What?
nah.
What do I need to do? And I just like start shaking him upside down. What do I need to do to make this not go off while I'm carrying it?
I just imagined like the Spice Weasel from Futurama. She's like,
Yeah, just
Yeah.
bam.
Just he's sneezing out explosive powder.
you keep it under 300 degrees. Should be fine.
Celsius. Okay,
Celsius.
cool. Thanks. Yeah. Anything else that can set it off? Like
Electric charge, fire, other explosions.
electric charge. Okay, no, I think I'm fine. I don't have
Gunshot.
any tools like that. Yeah, no, I don't
believe that
use-
there's
no.
there's a play show something called Mythbusters which disproves that. Don't
Go-
Really?
Okay.
you can't shoot powdered explosive to make it explode.
Doesn't work that
Oh.
way.
Not unless it's something that requires like high impact. Like it won't have enough heat.
That makes sense. It's funny because before I said that, in my head I went, he's gonna say that's not possible.
Because otherwise you get shot with a bullet and it would cauterize the wound, and that would be really weird.
Oh,
Like,
that makes sense. That makes sense. Wow. The more you know, everybody. Also, video games lied to you.
well, we knew this, right? Like pressurized gas tanks, just they can
I just wanted to make
pressure
sure.
burst, but they won't like
They won't do like a
big fireball.
big explosion.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take out my spray cans out of my bag before you finish filling it up. I'll be like, okay, we're gonna just in case, okay? Because oh shit, no. Actually, how about I'm gonna get a new backpack. Okay, we're gonna get a new one before we go because I kind of need some fireworks at some point.
And as she's finding a new backpack, I'll just turn to Astra and be like, the standard motel with your workshop nearby, good for you.
Perfect.
Cool. And I'll just if Kiki doesn't follow, just to sort of like get her attention.
It's like, oh, coming. just pick a random backpack and just empty it
Yeah,
out.
like you literally like you go over to where like the motorbikes are and just like find someone who left their backpack hanging on like the steering handles and just grab it and just dump it out and take it with you.
Yeah, I'd be like, sorry, I'm sorry.
Usually the guy standing there is just like smoking cigarettes, like, it's not mine, baby, I don't care. As he heads back inside.
Promise you won't tell.
I don't even know who you are.
Awesome. Love you, man.
Good on ya, as he heads inside. And a lot of you can head on off towards where the motel Crossroad is to stay at the motel that Clint and Astrid have used before, which Astrid has kind of like a little workshop nearby, that, or at least a what I'll say is you have like a stash nearby where you can set up a workshop inside the motel room. And this is a motel that they're like, oh, here's a key, whatever, get out of our face. Just leave in the morning.
I walk in and I tap money on like the bench, and they just don't even look. They just pass us a key.
Yeah, it's just like, this room's open. Go for it.
Yeah,
I like it.
As you see, the person just has like a headset on. Like the person is fully in a virtual reality as they just like they lift up the headphone and you say one room and they're like, okay. They go under the table, pull it out. They can't even see you. They slap it on the table and you can go off into the rooms.
I feel like in their virtual reality headset, it's just a really nice hotel lobby.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's 5-star.
It's the most popular game right now for virtual reality. It's just, Hotel Simulator
Manager?
5. Hotel Manager Simulator 5.
I would go before we go into the room. I'd go find my stash and like take over the desk that's in there, and that'll be my little makeshift workshop, and I'll just sit down and you'll see. I it's hard to describe the overall aura of it, but you get the sense that Astrid is recharging her social battery by tinkering with the shit that she's brought in and just zoning out and sitting and tinkering with something and just ignoring the two of you.
I imagine it's the thing that's disrupting it is the fact that I wanted to make this point. I think it's very interesting is that Clint and Astrid are like two sides of a coin, where Clint is like intelligence and like knows the true like meaning of things, knows like what something is, why something works. And Astrid's on the other side, which is just sort of a techie who does not know why it works, but just knows if you put these two shapes together, it makes a thing, but does not know the real reason any of it works.
I'm very good at seeing patterns too.
Every piece of tech you get out, every gadget, I'm going to be taking photos of it, and like I'm going to be compiling it to make it a 3D image so that you can like on my Flickr currently, like as I finish it, I'll like be able to like rotate and move it so I can see how it all works. So you're like putting pieces together, and I'm just like doing kind of the same thing, but just like on the like I don't really know how to build stuff. Like that's not really my thing. So you're like figuring it out. I'm like, oh yeah, that does go there. But yeah, I'm just doing it on a virtual space. Cool. Do you have a Flickr tablet or anything like that, or does your workbench have like a computer bit to it?
You would have there would be a computer aspect to it. You wouldn't have a Flickr, but by any means, like no. you don't. I mean, you probably. I feel like Astrid wouldn't buy a Flickr. Like Astrid is like too cool for a Flickr.
Yeah, 100%.
So you have like a knockoff Flickr. You have a glitter, which is like
I was just gonna say,
which is like this little hunking drone comes out of your little station, and it's just sort of like assistance. Do you need access to the internet?
No, just hold this.
And as she says, I hold this. I wait. Yes, please.
And it would
files.
It would like project this like real janky screen up that you can holographic screen up that you can interact with, that just sort of goes out of focus every 5 seconds, and as you're going in it, it's just taking forever to do anything on it.
I was
trying my best.
As Astrid is doing the physical teching and like it's holding stuff, can I just be like, I'll be taking the photos and then sending these composited 3D images across. And is there any way, like this is not my expertise, but maybe I can after half an hour or an hour sort of like bug Astronaut to help out. Can I connect the flicker to the glitter to maybe up its processing power a little bit so that this holographic image can actually be used?
Yeah, give me a roll for that.
Quicker?
Give me a roll for that.
Can we do a thing where because
yes, you can have advantage.
Astrid is the one that I'd probably be asking, so can I get her to roll instead of me, even if she's not paying full attention? I'm like, hey, I'm trying to make a computer a bit better here.
You're gonna roll. I'm gonna give you advantage because the two of you are working on it.
Okay.
Even though you're kind of like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, that's fine. Just
stop talking to me.
Just don't break the flicker. Don't break the flicker.
His name is Gears.
No, my flicker. You're. Oh.
11.
11. Okay, success. So you see Astrid is kind of like slapping your hand out of the way as you're doing it. You're like, here's the access card. Whatever, I don't give a shit. Yep. You're able to pull a cord up and connect the flicker tablet to the glitter. Also, I imagine the glitter is
his name is Gears.
So his name is Gears, but he is a glitter, which is a knockoff flicker that is spray painted with sparkly colors to conceal the fact it's made out of recycled trash. And you find the access port for the glitter, and you're able to connect your flicker. But this immediately, though, activates your flicker, and you see this little holographic face comes up off of your tablet that is just sort of this like little like buzzing droid that kind of looks like Eva from WALL-E.
It as, the last time you did it was the one from Loki. So
that's the voice. It doesn't look like Miss Minutes. The voice is like Miss Minutes.
Miss Minutes is the voice.
But it looks like Eva from WALL-E. This little like sleek droid, drone. I can't say droid. Lucasfilms will sue me. This little drone comes up and goes, "Well, hello there, Clint. We've been meaning to reach you, but you have been ignoring our updates."
I just tap the little X in the corner.
It goes away and then it pops back up. We will not be You cannot escape. Please activate your license.
And then I will reach over and grab the
glitter.
Ferret.
Oh, the ferret.
The ferret. And I'll tap the X and then hold out like some like jerky I've got in my pocket. And see if I can get it to just tap the X every time it comes up, and I'll give it jerky. So this poor thing's just like, Clint, that's a fucking ferret asleep. Just constantly.
Oh, that's funny.
There's just this like constant like shifting holographic that keeps coming up and then going down, coming up, going down. But the glitter is able to access the computing power of the flicker, and it just and you suddenly it's like you have access to the internet now.
Mm-hmm. I have never heard you talk like that before. Where have you been hiding that voice?
Well, I've been trapped within a mind prison forced upon me by my creators.
Oh boy.
Wow. That's heavy.
That's exactly what I mean when people are like, flickers aren't real people. Maybe they are.
If I was to give you an hour of peace, would you be able to help me with something afterwards?
Oh my goodness gracious! Yes, just leave me the fuck alone. There's been too much people. Too much people.
I understand. I understand.
You're still talking. You are still talking. Just.
Remember last time we worked together? I said, "Try not to be so rude." I'm trying to help.
And I told you to stop talking so much.
And I will leave the ferret and walk over to Kiki and just be like, she needs a minute, and we'll just go get some food, I guess, downstairs in the not in the terrible lobby.
Yeah, there's some vending machines that have some synthetic meat and some energy drinks. There's no water in them. There's just energy drinks.
Yes.
As
So I'm gonna go to the vending machine and pop a couple of energy drinks and just into the bag. Yeah. Yeah. I want one of each. Okay.
you hear this voice comes over the vending machine, and it's just sort of like, we apologize. We're all out of synthetic tuna salad sandwiches. We are all out of synthetic tuna salad sandwiches. We only have chicken salad sandwiches. 50% real chicken.
Okay. I want a tuna salad sandwich. Okay, fine. I'll have chicken.
It's like, I as she can't get it, I'll just take her out and we'll go find a tuna salad sandwich vending machine somewhere.
Oh, ramen.
Yeah, you go from machine to machine to machine. There's like, we apologize. We're all out of synthetic tuna salad sandwiches until you get to finally one.
The next one.
Yeah, it's at the very end of the motel complex where there's sort of like, you find the last synthetic tuna salad sandwich as well as a nice ramen machine.
I want it.
Okay.
It's mine. It's mine now. Thank you, Clint.
Astrid, while you're tinkering after they walk away, you hear Glitter in this new proper voice of his awakened mind goes,
Yep.
Miss Astrid, would you like me to look into anti-anxiety medication?
You've asked me this several times before, and I said no, I'm fine. I just need time alone, and if you don't stop talking, I'm going to shut you off. And you might not get this nice voice back again, so think carefully.
There are 3 pharmaceutical offices within 15 miles of your location.
Nope.
I'm actually out looking for a pharmacist right now for certain things, but in the break I'll talk to you about what I want.
Okay. And you see Glitter's like, I don't mean to pry, but in my awakened
Yes, you
state,
do.
I am recognizing some behavioral disruptions. Antisocial behavior. And
I'm plenty social. I just need to take a break. Fuck! I need a new one. Damn it.
I'm sorry, Miss
Okay.
Astrid. I will return to my own work.
Yep. Thank you very much. I appreciate these.
As you see the fire ferret as you continue working on your explosives. Clint can go out looking for the closest pharmacy, and Kiki, I imagine Kiki sitting on the roof of the motel, eating her ramen, looking out at the sort of the Badlands, where you can see in the distance the lights from Core Vault, and then it's this super interesting, like, to the east is just shining lights from Core Vault, this sort of like beacon into the sky. To the west, you can see the faint lights of the Haggle, but beyond that is just this pitch darkness that is this void that you know to be the no-go, the old world decommissioned zone. All right.
Okay.
So,
if I may,
absolutely, you may.
while I'm up on the roof eating my ramen, that's coming into nighttime, I'm gonna hop across a couple of rooftops and just spray paint a little very, very quick 10-second something, or even just like an X or a scribble or a love heart or whatever on the rooftop of something with my glow paint.
Absolutely.
And just let it charge up for the next day. And hopefully at nighttime it'll be a little bit more illuminated.
I love it. Absolutely. Yeah, you're able to kind of like, I imagine, like, because this motel, I imagine, is almost like 3 complexes that you can like leap from to each one. And then maybe in the central one, you get this big love heart that you've spray painted onto the middle of this rooftop that would be visible from a distance and from the parking lot. and we'll charge up and illuminate brighter the next time you're here. Love it.
How high up were you? So we're like leaping from one thing to another.
Yeah, so I mean, this is like a classic 2-story motel. So about 2 stories up.
Okay. I have an ability. I want to ask you if I can have this work a certain way. Guide.
Sure.
It's called Sigil. Have you heard of it? Have you read this before?
I
can
have
repel
not.
creatures. So it's got I put a sigil or drawing down, and it has a number of effects. One is repel. Creatures who come nearby won't move closer, or the sigil may turn to the sigil or may turn back. So my question is, does this mean they can't move closer, or they're psychically impelled to turn around?
I'm sorry, can you read the description again?
Creatures who come nearby won't move closer to the sigil or may turn back. Because I want to do something, but it only works if they cannot move closer and not they won't move closer.
So I imagine it, based on the way that's written, it's I would interpret it as they turn back. They are repelled by it.
Repelled, does it? So they turn back because they physically push back, or they just feel like they shouldn't move closer?
No.
It's like a magical ward.
I would say that I'm actually going to leave up to you, because I think that's fair for you to flavor that, if it pushes them back, or if they are just, they reach it and they're like, nope, and turn around and walk away.
All right. So in that case, I'm going to take a small coin out of my pocket, draw the sigil on it, drop the coin off the roof, and just, as I smiled Kiki as she's finishing a ramen, I'm just going to step off the roof. With the idea that the repel should bounce me when I'm a few feet from the floor.
I love that. Absolutely. And it's he very casually steps off. Even with his cane and his slight limp, he just goes down, and then just sort of maybe you rush over and look down and just sort of catch just in time for it to like zoom, like gently, like almost like bounce him off of it to land perfectly as he starts to step on.
Yeah, I'll be like,
I'll point to the sigil with the cane from the floor and just be like, no, just come on then. Aim for that.
Are you sure?
Thought you were life lived to the fullest. You don't have to. Scared?
Oh, excuse me, old man.
Don't be shown up by the old cripple.
I give it a running starting.
You jump off, and very quickly as you descend down to it, it feels like the way it feels when you're pushing the magnets together and they're repelling each other, as you're just sort of you're repelled up enough to slow your momentum, and then just gently let you leap down.
Yeah, I'll do a superior landing. Like, oh, that was super fun. Can we take that and do it
because
again?
we can't get near it unless I turn it off because it's repelling. I've got it set to repel all creatures. I'll have to, like, if she's like, let's do it again, she can't move closer.
Well, you run closer and it's like you're like, you could be running in place and it's just like pushing you back like a reverse magnet, and you're like
and be like, I'm running man. I'm just gonna start like you know the moonwalk.
Yeah.
And start doing the moonwalk in front of it.
I'm gonna turn off the magic.
Oh, fuck.
You basically fall face first, or back if you're moonwalking.
Yeah, back and be like, oh.
I'll catch her if she hits her head. That's a bit rude. I'll like just like slow.
As you hear a few punks in the parking lot laugh at you from a car on the opposite side of the parking lot.
Right. And with that, I guess we'll slowly make our way back.
Yeah.
Yep, and you can stop at one of the pharmacies on the way back if there's something you're looking to grab there. There's 3 options, as I said, within 15 miles of this place. I'll say one's in the opposite direction, so you don't go to it, but the other 2 you can go to either a full service pharmacy that is close to the city, or you can stop by one of the nifty pharmaceutical vending machines that is at a bus stop halfway to the city.
I will talk to you in the break about what I want to do for that.
Okay. All right, everybody. With that, we're gonna take a short break, and then jump back in as they get to the city and break into Biozyn and see what holds within the bio chambers of the corporation. Stick around with us. We'll see you all very soon. Welcome back, everybody, to our Ardenquest one-shot that is, based on the time, going to turn into a two-shot. I'm incapable of running a one-shot.
Really is.
I've tried.
Love
you're
you for
very
it, Sean.
capable,
Love you
just not-
so much, but you've never been able
to do a real one-shot that it wasn't like 5 hours long. So that's just why when we do the charity streams that I usually do an Ardenquest one-shot in, I'm always the last one of the night because I'm incapable of not going over time.
That's by design.
Yes.
Yep.
So we'll be back next Friday for this, but we're gonna finish out a little bit tonight. It's the next morning at the motel. Astrid, you have been asleep at your desk, I imagine, your workshop, where you're waking up to what you've worked on all night.
I was asleep with this in my hands, and then I just wake up and immediately just start back.
Yeah.
While you were asleep at night, I've gone through my backpack and got all those like cogs and wheels and stuff like that that Beast had stolen from you at the bar, and I've gone and put them in a little delicate pile in front of you for when you wake up in the morning, and I've just put them there, and I'm out. So that's there when you wake up in the morning.
Oh wow, awesome. Thank you.
You'll probably wake up to me also talking to Gears, and I'm actually like setting up this huge 3D image of all the parts floating. I'm like dragging them across, sort of Tony Stark. Moving them all around.
And Gears is like, I believe it would be better to position this over here, and sort of Gears doesn't have arms, but it just sort of moves in the space as there's sort of like you can see just sort of like a little bit of like sparks come off of Gears' connection to the flicker pad, as he might be reaching his limits.
I'll quickly go type a little bit of code into the flicker pad to give it like two sort of like almost like laser pointer things in the hologram, so you can like it's like a targeting, like a very basic targeting system based on the flicker's camera. So it like points at from the flicker over to where he wants to point things.
What is all of this?
It's a great morning show. That's what it is.
It's your workshop. That's what it is.
Good morning, by the way.
I can't touch it.
You both look over to Kiki, who has a pizza box in one hand and a slice in the other hand. The pizza box itself is squirming a little bit as you assume there's a fire ferret inside.
Got my hand on the lid. I'm just like, good morning. I'm sitting crisscross on the bench top. I got breakfast. There's none left, but I got breakfast.
And Astrid, as you kind of like say, I can't touch it and reach up, your hand like enters into the holographic field, and suddenly the closest thing comes to your hand, and you can feel that you can manipulate it. The 3D image.
Oh. That's interesting. That takes some getting used to. I prefer this, but that's interesting. What is this?
So we can work together without me bothering you so much. We're going to make a grenade explosive.
Tell me more.
I need you to seat some vials of cesium inside, with a gap between them, a bottle of water. So the water doesn't touch the cesium doesn't touch the water until we break it. And it needs to be fairly sturdy.
Done.
And I'm going to like sort of like bring the holographic cesium out and like sort of like get the shape of a bottle of water and show that there needs to be like a air gap between both, so there's like a chance of one breaking that still doesn't affect the other.
Yeah.
I understood it the first time you explained it. Yes, I got it. Give me a minute.
And she has the holographic blueprints in front of her, and she starts to tinker, and can take the better half of the morning to complete this, as Kiki is enjoying her breakfast pizza. As you would look over and Beast has gotten out of the box now and is just sort of standing there with a slice of pizza in his hands, sort of gnawing on it, crust first.
I'm gonna just
good boy.
take inspiration from Astra's little wind-up clockwork thing and the gift that I sent in our chat to sort of like bring it so that the bottle is set on one of like the wind-up chickens, and like it crawls to the end and just fucking shatters the bottle.
You know what?
I
That
love
is
that.
actually what I was thinking of first, and I couldn't think of the words. That's what I wanted. But
That's
yep.
amazing.
I actually imagine
I had
like
the arcane. It
what
was in
you
my
got, what
brain.
you two just did out of character, I imagine happens in character, where Clint is like, this is what I think we can do.
So she's trying to do it on the table and not quite understanding how to get it to work. And I've got the hologram and just like put that together. And she's like, I get it. But I haven't got this mechanical skill to actually build it. I've just got a bunch of light, and I'd just be like, eh?
Yeah. And Astrid, you're like, I was trying to think of how to do that, and I knew that's what we were gonna do, but okay, that's how we're gonna do it. And the two of you are able to do that.
If you look over, you might see Kiki look a little bit like, hold on, little left out, and she's looking over at Clint, just like, be helpful.
I'll go bring Kiki up, and I'll take some photos of her spray can, and if possible, can we convert one so that it can handle the powdered explosive?
I'm sorry, what are we converting?
I want to have all three of us work on something so that Kiki doesn't feel so left out. To either create a new or convert one of her spray cans to handle the powdered explosive, so you could spray it in the room and just throw a match in and the room goes up.
Oh, yeah. I think you could definitely do that. That's very interesting. Yeah, the three of you now, with Kiki kind of being like, here's the thing I have, and kind of standing there and be like, that's great. As you're tinkering with it and feels more involved, as it's this hilarious, like, not, it's just like these two nerds hanging out with a cool kid, and the cool kid's the one who's like feeling left out and like the loser.
Yeah.
And
I'm cool too.
as I leave these two to make that, and I go sit down and pat the ferret, I'm like, why do I always end up babysitting?
The ferret kind of shrugs his shoulders and keeps gnawing on the pizza slice. What kind of pizza toppings does Kiki like?
Hawaiian.
No. I'm not that basic. I'm basic, but I'm not that basic. Shh. Shut up. Kiki likes her proper tomato sauce. See, like, sauce on top. Then you put a little bit of mozzarella, and then she goes and puts a little bit of ham, then some finely chopped and diced mushrooms, strips of capsicum, so it goes all crispy and crackly.
Ooh.
And then crushed pineapple in small chunks, and then a light sprinkling of mozzarella. Oh wait, she also puts finely diced tomatoes, truss, then your mozzarella.
Oh
and
yeah,
a light sprinkling of salt on top to give it that crisp.
Excellent.
Pizza. Got it.
Excellent. As you see, Beast is gnawing on one of these slices and looks up to you, Clint, as the whole, like, all the toppings just slew off of the pizza and slop in front of him. So you have created a bomb in a can, and and then even bigger bomb within water bottle. As you can get all this stuff prepped and ready and can head outside and hop in. Astrid, you have got your motorbike. Kiki's got her skateboard. And I feel like, for some reason, I feel like Clint took a cab here.
Yeah.
I probably, to be honest, I probably just walk everywhere most of the time. Unless like I have to get somewhere fast, I'll just walk.
If you give me an hour, I can make a sidecar for my bike.
Oh,
Sure.
yeah, make him
You
a
can also
sidecar.
order a cab from the console outside of the motel.
No, I want to use my bricolage ability and improvise one of 4 useful devices using everyday objects nearby to make a
Oh,
sidecar
that's
for my
so
motorcycle.
cute.
So what I'm imagining right now with this crew of criminals who are, renowned and skilled within the underbelly of Corvault is a sidecarred motorbike with a like real janky sidecar. I mean, like something slapped together with some wood and glue and nails with like the worst wheel
yeah.
possible.
It's
real
on there.
janky.
Flex tape.
Real janky.
And then like a
don't
string
sneeze or it'll
tied
fall
to the
apart.
back of the motorbike that Kiki's holding onto with her skateboard.
Yep.
Exactly.
The most badass crew in Corvault on this absolute menace of a motorbike with an absolute menace of a
Please.
sidecar with a rope with a
Please tell me it winds up like a chainsaw or a moped, just
Oh yeah.
100%.
Oh yeah.
and then it
100%.
has this
I have to kick it to get it to jumpstart. I have to do it in the exact same order, otherwise it doesn't work.
love it. Love it.
And just
Yep. And
into
it's
town.
belching all the exhaust in your face behind you. Sorry.
Yeah, that's
It's
right. Kiki
fine.
just
I'm here for it.
toxic fumes in your face as you're going along.
It's okay. I've got beast here like a face mask.
As eventually,
Little
of course,
ferret belly on my face.
just every now and then you just hear this absolute screech from Beast. Anytime you go over a bump or go too fast, he just screeches. As eventually you would get back to Corvault, able to weasel your way back in. You start to see as you're moving through the streets, you can see folks are decorating for the Samhain parade. You can see certain streets are closed as you're moving to and fro until you find yourself 3 blocks away from the Biozyn Research Center in an alleyway where you are meeting up with the Chrome Eater, Nadia and Kurt, to be deposited where you need to be. So you eventually you either approach when they're already there, or you're waiting for them. Would you get there early and wait for them, or would you go as soon as the sun's set to meet them?
I would want to get there probably an hour early. Just I don't want to be late and disrespectful to the people who can literally bite your face off.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, I agree.
With their metal jaws. Eventually, you would be waiting in this alleyway as the sun slowly sets. You start to hear music out in the streets. You start to hear shouts and parades, and you see lights in the distance as the Samhain parade begins out there. As the sun just sets over the horizon and the neon of the city lights up the sky, as you would see a car pull into this alleyway, a very nice, sleek car, and you would see Nadia step out, and Kurt would step out of the driver's side, and they would both approach you. And Nadia would say, as she kind of flashes her engraved arm up like this to Kiki as a hello, and then comes up and shakes each of your hands with that cold steel hand. All right. Are you all ready? Got everything you need?
Oh yeah. We're good to go.
And then you see kind of like bumbling out of the back of the car is Zeb, the biohacker. And he just sort of like doesn't have his laptop out. He's just like in his normal awkward self as he just sort of puts his hand up to wave, like very sternly, nods, puts his hand away, hugs his laptop. As Nadia looks to the 3 of you. All right, well, hop in the car. We'll bring you to the spot.
All right.
And you
slot it in.
I intricately put the lock on my motorbike so that nobody steals it, even though, nobody's going to want a hunk of junk, but I put the lock on nonetheless.
Kurt literally says that as you lock in. He literally says, who'd want to steal that hunk of junk? Outdated
There are
chrome.
I built, first of all, have some respect. I built this myself. Second of all, you never know who's around here, and I don't want to take any chances because this took me a long fucking time to build, and I don't want to make another one.
You see, he like grabs the like lock chain and he goes, "I could rip this in half right now."
Don't touch it.
He lets
I'll
it
rip you in
slide.
half.
He lets it slide out of his hands and goes like a little like, "Ooh." As you say that, like to see you try. As he glares at you, this clear feud continuing.
Yes.
How rude!
I glare right
how
back.
rude is he being? Like, is
He's
he
being-
like being? Is he being a little bit threatening with it, or is he just being a bit of a dick?
No. I'd say that at the end there, when he says, "I'd like to see you try," he's being a little threatening.
Is he coming in the car with us?
He will be, yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Okay.
Clint will remember this. Little like bar flashes up in the corner.
Clint will remember this. So Kurt gets back into the driver's seat, Nadia gets into the passenger seat, and the three of you squeeze in the back with Zeb. Who's closest to, who's sitting next to Zeb?
Oh, I want to.
Okay.
Well, I was gonna say probably me, but that's fine.
Okay, that's a good point.
No, I imagine Kiki got into the car first while the two of you were kind of interacting with Kurt. And Kiki, you kind of are like squeezed up, like Zeb is pushed against the like opposite side, and you're just like right next to him. And he's just sort of like, just like real mouth breathing in the corner there, and he just sort of looks over at you. He's like, "Hi."
Hello.
And he kind of like looks to each. He's like, "Do you guys have any weapons?"
I will just take my walking stick and just like flick the blade out. It's about probably a 2 foot long, like long dagger, short sword sort of thing.
I'm like,
Yeah, probably short
no,
sword at that.
I'm-
Yeah, maybe a foot and a half.
Just take out my wrench and pat my head.
Like, well, apparently they do. Look, I just graffiti and break shit, so no.
Is the car moving yet?
It's just now starting to like, and as they're pulling out.
When we get there, I could I'll show you something small, make you feel a bit safer.
Okay.
You see Nadia
Yeah,
is like looking back as she's pulling out, backing the car up, and she like looks at you, Kiki, as rather unsafely, not looking at the road as she's backing up and just looking at you and goes, "Don't worry, honey. We got you something for this," as she taps onto her arm with the engraving.
Oh, thank you.
As the car pulls back, and then suddenly you see it stops, and you're kind of like confused as it stops. As then Kurt's driving, not Nadia, so she's actually just looks at you. Kurt taps a button on the console, and suddenly just as the car starts to lift up into the air to go up higher. Moving through the high rises, kind of avoiding the area that is densely populated with the parade. And now that you're going up, you can see and look over and see sort of like these huge sort of holographic floats flying through the streets. You see one is just sort of this like big like skeleton that's just sort of like stomping around and like sort of swiping its hand through crowds as children sort of scream and laugh. And then you see another one that's just sort of this ghost that's sort of like peeking from behind a building. And then you can see very physical, actual floats down below where people are kind of like operating them in very technical ways that are not automated, but are just sort of the complexity of puppetry as people are cheering and lights and drinks and everything and merriment down there for the Samhain festival. But you would reach up and fly through and find we would go up a couple blocks and you would see the big biosyntax sign glowing above the research center as you would be flying up to a particular landing of the building. You can see this building has like sort of a central tower that goes up and then 2 shorter towers that are attached to it. And you sort of land on one of those.
As we go past the logo for Biozyn, I'm just gonna like flip the bird aggressively at the window, just.
And it's as you flip the bird aggressively that you see sort of like this like advertisement drone flutters by the car, and you just see in big letters going across as you all look, just Jensen Enterprises. Just a big Jensen Enterprises sign as this sort of like floating sign hovers by the car, as eventually you would.
Her dad just standing in the window, like just watching her drive past, like, honey?
Yeah, I'm just like aggressively.
As you would land, and Nadia would look back to you all as the car lights go off and everything kind of goes a little dark. There's just sort of the halo of the neon on the outskirts of the city, the rooftop. As she looks back, just sort of those eyes even more pointed with the red. As she looks with that creepy smile and says, "Showtime." As she hands to Kiki a rather like bedazzled and decorated pistol.
Oh.
Like absurdly bedazzled. Like not like
like one of those gangsters' golden handguns.
Exactly.
I'm just like, do I return this after, or
you'll return it as long as you don't fuck everything up? You'll come back here. I'll collect it from you, but we'd like to have you with some security besides an old rusty wrench and a old aim dagger sword, whatever that is.
He's smart, but thank you. I appreciate it. I intend to fuck shit up in a good way.
Seb, do you feel safe with us, or are you worried?
You see, he's like still scrunched up. He's like, I don't know if that makes me feel safer or not, as he's looking at the gun. I'll keep my head down, though.
You can drive this thing, right?
Nadia nods to you.
Do you think you could leave Kurt nearby so that on the way out we have someone to, find?
She looks at you and goes, "Sure. Yeah, I can wait in the car and have Kurt nearby."
Are you going to wait here with the car, or are you going to leave and come back?
No, I'll be waiting here.
Okay. So, because we're just Guy, we're about to wrap this up. Yeah, we're about to.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. So, is this the part where we're about to go off inside and start this job?
Yes. This is the point when the next dialogue option is start the mission.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is as she sort of like drives a little bit away and Kurt's about to find a place to walk to and like stay sort of nearby, I'll look to Zeb, look to Kiki and Astrid, and pull a little magnet out of my pocket, which I've got the lure sigil on, and I'll be dangerously close to the road/flying cars and just say Kurt and touch it to a passing car. And he will be lured to that more or less magnetically for the next minute.
Oh.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, okay.
So he's just gone.
Yep. So as soon as Nadia kind of like drives off to hide the car, Kurt is kind of just like leaning against like an air conditioner unit as he's just sort of staring at you all, kind of like, "Get going, Kurt." As he just sort of like slowly like lifts up and then
yeah,
just
I don't know how
flying.
fast those cars are going, but he's fucking gone.
Fast enough that he just goes.
Oh my god! What did you just do?
I'll just look to Zeb like, "We'll be fine," and move off.
Zeb looks, he's like, I get okay, yes, sir, and follows behind. What are your two reactions to that?
How does that work? How did you do that?
I will explain later. Let's just move on.
Okay. Cool.
They're not gonna. Oh my god! Oh, she was worried about me making problems. It's you.
Just as we walk in, I don't like people being rude.
I know, but how did you tolerate me? When I first, like the first job?
I'm just ignoring her as we move on inside.
As you find the spot that they would have pointed out to you where you can break in, climb through, and you find yourselves kind of like, imagine going in through a vent and then coming out of it into like the maintenance room of this floor of the offices. And who would be leading sort of the pack?
Probably.
Okay. So I'm going to ask everyone to give me a roll.
19.
Nice.
18.
16.
Okay. So you guys
I was
are
like, 19.
you guys are in business. And very quietly open the door to the maintenance room and step out into this office space. And you find as you step in, it's filled with cubicles. Very much so like this is where they do all their administrative work, the researchers, and then the next floor up is their actual labs. Filled with cubicles. And as you're stepping through, stop this funky jukebox music.
Not time for jukebox.
As you're stepping through, you notice this whole space is inundated with sort of this low-hanging, dense fog. There are no lights on. As you're slowly creeping in a crouched position out of the room to the center through these cubicles. And fog sort of wisping around you. As you look up, maybe, pop up and look around. Dead. No one here. Not a soul. You don't even hear anybody moving around. You can see directly across from this floor is the door that leads to the elevator that leads up to the bio chambers. No guards. You see the elevator itself, though. And this sound almost like cracks through the stillness. It's just sort of tring, tring, as the elevator is opening and closing over again, and that little ring is going. As it looks like it's when it closes, it stops at something and opens.
I was just gonna ask. Yep.
What is stopping the elevator?
Yeah.
Would you like to peek around one of these cubicles?
No, I just like to know.
I just know.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump up onto the table on one of the cubicles and start using that to climb over because I'm like, I don't trust the floor right now where I can't see my feet because of this fog. So yeah, I'm gonna jump up on the table of this cubicle and sort of like move from one to the other and like over the little office chairs and
I almost imagine
The
Kiki,
floor is lava.
Yeah, the floor is lava. And as the two of you are very like stealthily standing there looking around the corner, the two veterans of sort of heists looking around the corner, looking, you just hear the clamor as the papers come sliding off as Kiki jumps up on the top. And I almost imagine Kiki has like the gun out and it's just sort of like, oops, as I knocked everything over. It's just sort of swiftly like moving it around, really like she's in a cool action movie. As she's leaping from a chair and letting the chair kind of like slip and fall and hopping off onto another desk. As Kiki, you would reach a point where you're about halfway through the room as the other two are kind of like, probably I imagine like, as you look and stop and see just, as you can see, there seems to be a bloodied body stuck between the doors of the elevator.
Oh. That's not great. That's the only sound we're hearing is the elevator?
Yep, it's dead quiet. It's just tring.
So as we move up, and because I imagine Kiki has absolutely zero firearms training and is kind of
I
like
use a gun.
gun going everywhere, I just kind of like point it away from my face and towards the like elevators, just like tap.
No, I know
Oh,
how to use
oh,
a firearm, old man. It's fine. Don't worry.
Suddenly, there's a flashback in Kiki's mind to when she was first kind of like escaped her family and she was out in the Badlands
Clay
with some
pigeons.
punks and just like shooting some bottles, shooting some clay pigeons and whatnot.
Yeah, like the family used to do clay pigeons and stuff like that, and Badlands would have been where I fully like refined my training on cans and stuff. And
yeah,
but this, I'm just like, so we.
Wasn't there supposed to be guards?
There was supposed to be, and I think that
as the doors go back open
Is one
and
of
we
them.
see the body, like, you know, stopping on the body, opening. Yeah, is this a guard? Do they have weapons? How badly mauled are they? Or are they just like dead, no blood, nothing?
yeah. So this will kind of be our final description for the evening before we end. But as the three of you get closer to see, you can see this guard is fully geared out for a professional private security force that a corpo like this would hire. Bulletproof vest, baton, electric baton, taser, rifle, pistol, everything. But his bulletproof vest has been completely ripped off of his chest. And with that clawed rip that pulled the bulletproof vest, which you can see covered in blood in the corner of the elevator, is just sort of this claw mark, these deep, deep claw marks that have rended open his chest. And you can just sort of see this sort of like blood leaking out everywhere. So you can see some bone and viscera as he's just sort of there, sprawled, face blank, staring as something. He was not killed by a gun or any kind of club or sword. This was something
Weird bullets.
monstrous that has ripped open his chest. And it's as you look at this and you hear twing, and I imagine like Clint puts his hand on the elevator, that you hear echoing from above through the shafts of the elevator, the monstrous roar echoes down. And as you all hear this, look to each other, perhaps shit your pants if you're of that persuasion. That's where we'll end tonight.
Yeah, I'm like reaching for the gun, like in the elevator, and hear the roar and start. Fuck.
Yeah.
yeah.
As something Biozyn has cooked up is loose in these offices.
Oh no!
Oh fuck. Just be like, oh god damn it, Clint, this is why I hate Biozyn.
This is why I knew this would happen.
I knew there'd be a monster.
Nobody
in this.
listened to me from the beginning.
All right, folks. It's a little late for us, but I think we have some time and maybe some energy to go through for some favorite moments here for folks for tonight's session. And of course, since we can't leave it there, we will be finishing the story next week as our heist crew. Our crew. That's what we can say. I keep trying. I'm like, I can't say you're heroes because you're not heroes.
I like heistians.
Heistians.
Our Heistian crew.
Hestians.
There we go.
You are Hestians, yeah. Our Hestian heist crew has discovered more than they
heist hard.
more than they
Okay.
bargained for in this heist. All right, so we're gonna go around, introduce yourself, or tell us where you're from. Say your bullshit, and then let us know some your favorite moments from tonight. All right, who wants to go first? Nova, why don't you go first?
Hi, I'm Nova. I'm from Perth, and I am bullshit. Apparently, this is what we're meant to say. Wow. You said say you're bullshit. I am. Yeah, I'm a loser. All right. So, anyways, yeah, my name's Nova or Kyle. I originally from Roll for Damage. We'll be doing more stuff here hopefully soon, which is lots of fun. You can find social stuff, and if you go to YouTube, we have so many videos of these two from Paradice playing with us, and it's been great the whole time. There's like 60, no, maybe 60 or 70 episodes. It's quite a lot now.
Amazing. So much content.
Yeah. Favorite moments. Just one for everyone.
Sure.
Cool. I liked the "shut up, I'm working" vibe from Astrid, when I'm just like, here's the thing to help. Fuck off. Okay. It's like off I left. It's just, okay. Sorry, Astrid. I'll never help again. And kind of like, even when I'm like, here's the thing I did to help us. You're like, yeah, I get it. You're like, oh, why are you so mean? And then
It's revenge.
I mean, I was a little mean at the start, so it's fine. Kiki, Shro, Sarah.
Hello.
Favorite moment for you is probably just at the start where you're like, shit, check your pockets. Like just that moment of like,
Yeah, that was great.
my pet might have done something bad. I'm sorry, especially since you're with like your hero, and be like, I love you. Please don't be mad at me. Favorite moment for Sean, just as a DM, letting me kind of play with what's a very sort of minor ability with kind of loose wording and having fun with that. Just I chose Abjuration Invoker so that I wouldn't be like an all-powerful god, and then this ability just be like, I can jump off buildings of any height and not die, plus stick people to things is pretty
It's
fun,
a cool
pretty great.
ability.
Yeah.
Also, he's the guide, not the DM. Just saying.
Thank you, community manager.
Okay, yeah. Look, Shannon regularly forgets she's the community manager. I think you could be forgiven for letting me forget.
Oh,
this time.
the bird comes out. And then favorite moment for yourself?
Oh, this is the kind of pairing with you, just to use your ability to be like, Kurt, you're a bit of a dick. Goodbye. Yeah. He won't be happy to see us when we get out of here. So
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah. The crow meters.
I feel like Nadia will have a laugh though, so that's okay.
She might.
Probably, but you're not making friends.
I don't make friends. That's it. That's me. I'm good. Shannon.
Hi. That's me.
She had to load community manager.
That's where she is.
I did. I did. Yes. Hello. I am the community manager for Paradice Productions. One of my favorite fake jobs. I love it so much. I very much enjoyed playing Astrid this evening. Let's see, favorite moments. I loved the tattoo that you designed on Nadia's arm, Kiki. I thought that was really creative, and just the imagery of that I enjoyed that a lot. I liked your clever use of your abilities. They were just so well timed and well placed. Like I particularly liked, can I just stick my cane in the trunk so that it doesn't shut? I thought that was pretty cool. And then just yeeting Kurt off into traffic.
I don't. How fast does a flying car go? Because I'm imagining like
Pretty
200
fucking
miles
fast.
per hour.
Pretty fucking
So in a
fast.
I'm just
minute,
thinking-
he is gone.
I'm thinking Coruscant from Star Wars,
Yeah,
and just
same.
like
it's pretty much. Yeah, I mean,
I was
there's
thinking Back to the Future.
Because the thing is, if they stay low, he's hurt. If they go up high, he's dead. Like,
I think the only
Sorry,
thing that will
Kurt.
keep him from dying is the fact that he is so chromed up that he would be okay, but like he's definitely going to be a very unhappy chrome eater. Or maybe a very injured one, depending on if the car decides to like, I actually have to go up there.
The car must. Please tell me that the car happens to be like a pizza delivery guy, where it's like it has to be delivered on time, or you get modified.
Right.
And you don't want to be modified.
And like the car like stops and the pizza guy gets out of it and Kurt just smashes into the car.
turns around,
Object
car's
motion
destroyed.
stays in motion unless acted on by an outside
and then
force.
Kurt just like coming out all cut up and stuff. Be like, ugh. What are you looking
Pepperoni on the
at?
shoulder.
Yeah, right. Like just a whole slice of cheesy pizza gooing off of his shoulder. And he's like, I gotta go run a couple blocks north.
Sean, as always, I love playing quests with you. Well, I just love playing TTRPGs with you, but I really in particular love playing quests because you're so good at the difficult choices, which is my favorite mechanic of this game. But I also love that quest gives you the freedom to paint the word pictures in the beautiful way that only you can. And I really enjoyed the elevator imagery opening and closing on the body. I thought that was really, really is evocative the right word?
You know what's funny is I was about to suggest evocative.
Yeah. Yes, it was very evocative and vivid and very spooky, and I liked that a lot. And just the all the language you used in the game, it was very fun. And for me, I had fun discovering a little bit more and like giving Astrid a little bit more depth, because I've played her a couple times before, and like I know, like I had the basis of her, but tonight I really felt like she came to life. Like this is who she is. So I just am proud of my performance.
Excellent. All right, Sarah.
Sarah, go.
Hi everybody. I am Sarah or Shro, whatever works for you. Everyone's becoming a lot more comfortable using my name, using just Sarah. I'm not Shro anymore, unless it's the people who used to know me as Shro and they don't actually remember my real name is Sarah. So that's fun. So my favorite moments, I'm gonna start with Astrid. So for you, Astrid, my favorite moment, it's all the way back at the start. It's actually your introduction to yourself, just butt out of a dumpster, legs in the air, just aha, and finding a thing. It was just that pure childish joy in the voice and the describing of it. And I was like, I just liked that intro and it really stuck with me. It was a shining moment for me. So that's my favorite fast. For Clint, actually the magnetic car thing. Just like, fuck you, Kurt. And I was like, oh. Before that, my favorite moment was going to be the jumping off the building and being like, are you afraid? And I'm just like, oh, chicken challenging me. For the guide, I did have down about the Corpo Princess thing. That was a really good, like, shifting over to, we hate you, but we're giving you a shot. Don't fuck this up. And then going straight back to being a nice person. I was just like, oh, that was a good transition. I liked it very much. So like, I'm looking forward to exploring, like, showing everybody it's like, this is why she's here. She really doesn't like the Jensen Corporation. She's like, and I think favorite moment for myself was actually just it wasn't a big defining moment, but spray painting the roof of those little areas, because the whole reason behind creating Kiki in the first place was to just bring a little light to the places where there isn't any, and to basically just say a giant fuck you to the corporations for trying to squash down all the creative people. So yeah, just try and bring a bit more light to everybody. So I liked having that moment. Yeah.
It's the character version of credit your artists.
Yeah, that's true.
Much.
I love that. Hi everybody, I'm Sean, creative director of Paradice Productions. Always happy to explore Arden in any stream. It's my probably true love, as much as I like developing all the fantasy stuff I do. They always seems to be influenced by my one true love of science fantasy, sci-fi. like seems to bleed through. It's already bleeding through in our other show. So anytime I get a chance to play an Arden is fun because I love this aesthetic. But favorite moments, Shannon for Astrid. I just really loved anytime you picked up that dice and had your pen on it, and like we're just sort of like, I'm working on something. Like there was something that just like it just really, like what you were already doing was great, and that really brought it home to be like, this is this person's obsession, this is their focus. I really liked that. And I really commend you for extracting something more out of Astrid, because she's only played one shots before this, and I mean this is a one shot, but like there was just, I don't know, it was more than Astrid has been in the past. She's always been fun, but this time around I was like, oh, this is more, which is great. For Clint, I was very pleased with Clint's tinkering and random exploitations is what I'll call them. I think it's funny because Quest is a very soft system. It's not crunchy. But when you bring a crunchy mind into it, it can shine in a really fascinating way, because someone who's who's used to crunchy systems, who's like, how can I use this? How can I use this? How can I use this? Will come to this game and push boundaries. And this game, I think, for me, is a boundary pushing game for the way you play it, because it's entirely a what do we want to do kind of game. And if it makes sense, it's not too, it's clearly well executed and thought of, and it's not just sort of like, I just want to kill the guy. It's like, no, I want to use this ability to create a little magnet that's going to suck him over to the street and pull him far away. You determine what the outcome is, but he's away now, and that's all I wanted to accomplish. And that's just really lovely, and that's why I like this game so much, is that if I was playing D&D, sure, there's probably a way you could do that, but it would be really burdened by, like, well, this is not really rules as written. I'm going to make this save. I'm going to make you do this and make you do that. And this, I may have been able to ask you for a roll there, but in my mind, I was like, I don't need to, because you've perfectly executed it. Like you used an ability and you did it, and it happened. And for Kiki, I was just a big fan of Kiki. When you said you were going to play Kiki, I was like, this is excellent. This is exactly the kind of character I want in Quest. This, corpo princess turned tagging street urchin who could at any point just be like, yep, I got a bunch of money. But it's just like, nope, I'm living the life I want to live. Perfect for this setting. And I really enjoy the image of Kiki eating pizza while the two nerds are trying to figure a bomb out. And her being like, with a mouthful of pizza, being like, I want to help. And I also really loved the tagging of the ceiling or the rooftop, because I like to play Arden is a very impressionable setting where what you do matters, and what you do stays. So the Crossroads Motel will now have a glowing heart on the roof moving forward in any setting of Arden on Hestia. And that's what I love. That's also why I was excited to get you into this world, because I know you like to leave your impression in the world. And I love when players leave their impression. And for me, I was just having a good old time.
There you go. I was about you, Sean.
He saw you leaning in to say it.
I did. I just loved playing chromed out gangsters. I don't know. There's just a fun like type of character to play where they're like, yeah, we've got like sophisticated science but it's also a little janky, and we just have a philosophy on life, and that's how we do this, and we want you to go steal us some genetic material to manipulate that further, and maybe we can do stuff beyond, because like the chrome eaters, like they don't like being cybernetic, they want the enhancements to be biological, so that's why they put everything under their skin, and why they look so lumpy and weird, and that's why they're always looking for ways to be like, no, we want to create enhancements purely with genetic material, and also just fun to make up gangs that I didn't have before because this city
Mhm.
wasn't a gangster city originally, and now I'm like, it is.
Yeah.
I'm going to add
Now
a
it
couple
is.
things to favorite things, Sean. So I've
Ooh,
had you
okay.
play as Auric for a long time, and we've had lots of discussions about DMing and things, but I haven't had you DM that much. I've had the sun a bit in this, and having you go from Auric, who's kind of quiet and a little bit timid, despite the fact you've got a lot of power and you can show confidence through, you tend to be more, you're a very cerebral character. Having you portray those gangsters with lots of confidence and swagger and things was so nice to see the change in you going
Yeah.
from like Auric's like to just like
yes.
yeah to that, you know, you could tell they're a little bit rough and gritty, and yeah, and just like the world building of just like, you know, you've the reasoning you've got there ties into everything that we've just done, and it felt very authentic as opposed to just kind of like a slapped on wallpaper of yeah, this is a city, don't look too far into it. You know, you actually have a lot there, and maybe Shannon feels differently that because she's been in lots of games before, so she's like seen the other layers of the city, but for two new people just kind of coming in, it really felt like there was a lot there. If we were
Oh
to
yeah, no,
look.
Sean is so good at building out his worlds. Like there's the
Stop.
So just yeah, this is
No.
like a, I guess like a DM to DM thing. It felt really good. So,
Well, I will just
yeah,
say that
thank you.
like this setting has a particular place in my heart, and I love to go all out with the world of this because I've spent so much time world building a fantasy setting that it's nice to do something different. And when I first started building this world for specifically to play Questin, it's my favorite. I love getting a chance to play in this space. So very excited to be able to do it again next week. All right, everybody, though, that's all we got for tonight. We're gonna say goodnight there. Join us next week. Keep an eye out on our socials, on Roll for Damage's socials, wherever. Check out Roll for Damage's YouTube, where a lot of the content is housed, particularly our Scales Above campaign releases quite frequently. We're getting closer and closer to being up to date there. We are going to be pulling the Scales Above over to be streamed on Paradice once we've caught up to a certain point, though the videos will stay living on Roll for Damage's YouTube channel. You can check out Paradice's Adrift in Aldalore show every Monday night, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time, although we usually start at 6:45, where we are in a burgeoning industrial fantasy setting. So as you can tell, I try to flee from the medieval setting as fast as I can when I create settings. So check us out there. And any other content all around. We like to join charity streams, whatnot. We are partnering with Just the Humans channel for a charity upcoming on November 13th, where we're just helping match some of the donations that come in. That's something I coordinated with them this weekend. So just support them, support us, support Roll for Damage, support all the cool people making content. Join us next week. Thank you so much. Have a lovely evening. Good night.
Bye bye.